Chapter 28:17. Soaring Dragon Empire. 15 rulers of the starry sky gathered in the Soaring Dragon Empire, each with their own ulterior motives. No one knew whether Longao was dead or not. However, if Longao was lucky enough to survive the space crack, then they would have the upper hand by controlling Longao's family first. Longao, who had a space chaotic artifact, was too powerful. Even Emperor Yun, who had mastered the chaotic artifact, was not confident that he could deal with Longao, let alone others. "What are you doing here?" Emperor Yun was very uncomfortable. He thought, if his family settled in the Soaring Dragon realm, then Master Godly Mathematician and the others would not dare to come. After all, he was a deterrent. But the result? 10 rulers of the starry sky came. Emperor Yun and Yunlu were not fools. How could they not know what the 10 of them meant? "Senior Yun, you and I are not fools. Whether Longao is dead or not is still uncertain. So, how about we divide the people of the Soaring Dragon Empire equally?" "Impossible. Who do you think you are?" Yun Tian was furious. He did not expect Master Godly Mathematician and the others to bargain with his family. If Emperor Yun had not stopped them, they would have killed Master Godly Mathematician and the others immediately. Others did not know, but Yun Tian and Yun He knew the true strength of their family. They were unbelievably powerful. All of a sudden, Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "We'll talk about this later. Our top priority now is to think of a way to break the seal of the cave mansion. I've just probed it. I don't know why, but even I can't break the seal of the cave mansion." Master Godly Mathematician and the others were completely shocked when they heard Emperor Yun's words. The seal of the cave mansion must be very powerful. Otherwise, they would not have to wait for so long. They thought that with Emperor Yun and Yunlu's help, breaking the seal of the cave mansion would be a matter of minutes. They did not expect that even the powerful Emperor Yun could not break the seal. "Is there no way?" "There is, but I haven't thought of it yet." "Then what should we do now?" "I don't know." "Wait." The 15 rulers of stars attacked the cave mansion's seal together, but they couldn't break it. Even Cloud Emperor was shocked. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he wouldn't have believed it. "Emperor Yun, have you heard of the primordial rock? Chaos rock? What is it?" Master Godly Mathematician was very surprised. He thought that Cloud Emperor would know the Chaos Rock, but he didn't expect that even Cloud Emperor didn't know it. "Tell me." Now that things had come to this, the marvelous mathematician didn't hide anything. He told them about the chaotic giant rock. He sucked in a breath of cold air. After hearing about the primordial rock, the expression on Cloud Emperor's face changed abruptly. This was because he already knew what kind of spiritual beast the primordial rock was. Looking at the expression on Emperor Cloud's face, the marvelous mathematician knew that Emperor Cloud must know the origin of the primordial rock. "Senior Yun, please tell me the true identity of the primal chaos rock." If it had been any other time, Cloud Emperor wouldn't have said anything about the primordial rock. However, things were different now. After all, only the Oracle had seen the primordial rock before. The marvelous mathematician's help couldn't be separated if they wanted to break the seal of the cave dwelling. "Based on what you just said, if I'm not wrong, the primordial rock you mentioned is actually Hua Jinpeng, which is equivalent to a mid-god spiritual beast. Not to mention you, even I would die if I met Hua Jinpeng in his prime." He was shocked. Everyone had witnessed Cloud Emperor's strength, but no one doubted his words. At the same time, they didn't expect the primordial rock to be so strong. Because of this, except for the marvelous mathematician, no one could understand why such a strong Hua Jinpeng would choose to seal himself. If he was so strong, he could have killed them. What was the meaning of this? They couldn't figure it out. "Are you hiding something from me, marvelous mathematician?" He nodded. Since things had come to this, the marvelous mathematician didn't hide anything. He said, "I believe you have already guessed that I was able to seal Hua Jinpeng because he was seriously injured. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been his match. So that's how it was. After knowing the reason, everyone was envious of the marvelous mathematician's luck. But Longao had taken his place. He was really unlucky. If you can subdue the golden fire rock, then you will be the strongest person in this vast starry sky. The marvelous mathematician regretted not telling Longao about Hu Jinping. Even if he couldn't control the primordial rock, he would have subdued Hu Jinping. However, there was no such thing as regret in this world. Master God Diviner asked curiously, Senior Yun, if I'm not mistaken, even if we do control the power of chaos, there are still different levels. What is this common God you spoke of? The marvelous mathematician wasn't the only one who was curious about this. They didn't know how the primordial rock was divided. Apart from 5 people, the other 10 didn't know about the primordial rock and the primordial rock. Forgive me for being blunt. Although you have refined the primordial rock tablet, you haven't even crossed the threshold of the primordial rock. Primordial rock? What kind of place was the primordial rock tablet? No one knew what the primordial rock tablet was, but their intuition told them that it wasn't simple. Seeing that no one spoke, the Cloud Emperor smiled and said, Since we are still allies, I will tell you some things you don't have the right to know. The marvelous mathematician is right. Based on your current strength and situation, if you were in the primordial rock tablet, you would at most be called gods. You would be slightly stronger than ordinary people. Senior Cloud, what is this primordial rock tablet you speak of? Long Ming couldn't help but ask. Primal Chaos World, the pinnacle world of countless vast starry skies. This is the primal chaos world I speak of. The limit here is starry sky immortals or half-step starry sky rulers. If placed in the primal chaos world, they would be ordinary people. You guys are only slightly stronger than them and are called gods. If not for the primal chaos tablets, you guys would be ordinary people at most. They were completely stunned. No one knew that there were other universes and that the peak was the primordial rock tablet. Chapter 28:18. Please continue. The more it was like this, the more curious they were. They were curious about the primal chaos realm that Emperor Yun spoke of. Even peak universe immortals and half-step universe rulers were only ordinary people in the primal chaos realm. Not only that, they had already devoured the primal chaos stone tablet and stood at the peak of the universe. In the primal chaos realm, they were only slightly stronger than ordinary people. Was this true? No one doubted it because they knew that Emperor Yun had no reason to lie to them. The mid-god that I mentioned just now is Hu Jinping's true strength. It's not something that we can contend against right now. I can tell you that once Hu Jinping recovers to his peak, killing us will be a matter of minutes. We already know this. Emperor Yun didn't want to continue because he knew he had said enough. He shouldn't have said these things. The family wouldn't allow anyone from this universe to enter the primal chaos realm. Poor universe. It was a universe that was forgotten by the primal chaos realm. Seeing that Emperor Yun didn't want to say more, they didn't ask anymore. They knew that if he didn't want to talk about it, it would be useless. Senior Yun, what should we do now? If that's the case, we can't break the seal. Even if Hu Jinping is heavily injured, the seal is strong. We can't fight against it. I'll deal with this. After speaking, Emperor Yun turned and left. The peak mysterious clan, the Yun family. Father, do we really have to report this to the family? Yun Lu was depressed. The family had handed this matter to them, but they had to ask for help. This was a bit embarrassing. If there was someone in this vast universe that could fight against them, then so be it. But in the vast universe, besides a few people, no one could control primal chaos energy. How could Emperor Yun not know what Yun Lu meant? He sighed deeply. Emperor Yun looked at his son and said helplessly, If it wasn't for the fact that we have no other choice, I wouldn't want to do this. But Hu Jinping has appeared in this universe, we can't fight against it. Yun Lu knew that was the case. He didn't say anything else. Immortal universe. Immortal ceiling forbidden grounds within the cave. Time passed quickly. Longao had already begun to truly refine the non-elemental primal chaos stone tablet. He had already fused half of it. However, he had spent a total of 30,000 years to do so. What kind of concept was 30,000 years? In other words, if he wanted to completely refine the remaining chaos tablets, he would need to spend a lot more time, perhaps even several times more time than before. Only after hundreds of thousands of years could one truly refine the primal chaos stone tablet. He suddenly opened his eyes. Longao didn't intend to continue refining because he knew that if he wanted to completely refine it, it would take too long. He couldn't wait any longer. No one knew if something had happened to the soaring dragon empire at this moment. Leaving the immortal ceiling forbidden land. Looking at the vast starry sky in front of him, Longao did not think of any other way, because he did not know what method he could use to return to his vast starry sky smoothly. There was only one way in front of him, and that was to forcefully break open space. Although the probability of doing so was not very high, it was better than nothing. Using the finger as a sword, Longao drew a line across the starry sky in front of him. In just an instant, a black crack appeared in the starry sky before him. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't dare to touch such a terrifying crack in space. Because if they were to be swallowed by the crack, the consequences would be unimaginable. If it wasn't for the fact that he had no other choice, Longao would definitely not be willing to step into the crack in space casually. Because Longao knew that even if he had the immortal primal spirit, he wouldn't be able to withstand such torment. If he couldn't return to the vast starry sky after stepping into the crack in space this time, he would have to continue the next time, and the time after that. If that was the case, the amount of time he would waste would be unknown. But even so, Longao did not hesitate at all. He took a step forward. Longao's figure instantly disappeared into the crack in space. He didn't know if it was because his luck was too good, but the first time he stepped into the crack in space, he successfully entered the vast starry sky from the immortal universe. After Longao returned to the vast starry sky, he spent a total of half a month to fully recover from his injuries. Until now, he still had some lingering fears. Fortunately, he returned to the vast starry sky without a hitch. If he had gone to another starry sky, things would have been really troublesome. After returning to the vast starry sky, Longao was deeply shocked by the issue of time. Because in the immortal universe, he had refined for a total of 10,000 years. But in this vast starry sky, it had only been a few years. This difference in time was a little too unbelievable. But the more it was so, the more surprised Longao was. He was really worried. If 10,000 years had passed in this vast starry sky, then who knew how long it would take? If he had known, he would have stayed in the immortal universe to refine the Chaos Stone Tablet. Maybe in a few years, he would be able to refine the non-elemental Chaos Stone Tablet. But it was too late to say anything now. Although he had only refined half of the Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao was full of confidence. With his third axe of the Chaos 9 axes, even if he were to face the Clairvoyant and the others, he would have the power to fight. But if he were to face the Cloud Emperor, it would still not be enough. Even so, Longao did not hesitate and immediately headed towards the Soaring Dragon Realm. For a few years, the Soaring Dragon Realm was safe and sound. Since the last incident, the Cloud Emperor and the others had not come again. Because everyone already knew that the Soaring Dragon Empire was sealed by Hua Jinpeng's power. So even if they tried to break the seal by force, it would be futile. Not far from the Soaring Dragon Realm, Longao did not rashly enter the realm. Because he knew that the Clairvoyant and the others had already set up an air shield. As long as he stepped into the realm, the Clairvoyant and the others would definitely know immediately. If he did that, wouldn't it alert the enemy? Longao was not stupid enough to do that. It was really a troublesome thing to enter the realm without anyone knowing. After thinking about it, Longao could not think of a good idea. What should he do? In desperation, Longao did not plan to enter for the time being. Instead, he quickly headed towards the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. The number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Inside the main hall. Chapter 28:19. You didn't die? As soon as he said that, Bai Jing realized how stupid he was. If Longao had died, how could he appear here? I was surrounded by Master God Diviner and the others. I had no choice but to enter the space crack. Fortunately, my luck was good and I managed to keep my life. He was shocked. Longao said it so simply, but Bai Jing knew very well what it meant to step into the space crack. Not to mention ordinary space cultivators, even space rulers wouldn't dare to casually step in. If you forced your way in, there was only one path, death. He didn't know how Longao did it. However, Bai Jing didn't ask because he knew what he should ask and what he shouldn't ask. Brother Long, let me tell you something. The other 8 half-step space rulers have all left. He wasn't surprised at all. Longao had already guessed that if he fought against Master God Diviner and the others, as long as they weren't idiots, they wouldn't continue to be enemies with him. This was without a doubt. He took out a primal chaos stone tablet and said, "Try to refine this tablet." Before Bai Jing couldn't refine the tablet, Longao had already thought about giving one of the 2 tablets that Luo Xian and Ling Qingfei had given him. He didn't hold back at all. If it was anything else, Bai Jing wouldn't be able to resist the temptation of the primal chaos tablet and directly devoured it. He hoped that this time, he would succeed. This time, Bai Jing wasn't disappointed and successfully devoured it. He said in surprise, "Brother Long, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to devour the primal chaos tablet in my life." Bai Jing, what I can tell you is that you have to refine the primal chaos tablet as soon as possible because there is a primal chaos realm above our vast universe. Even if we were to control the primal chaos power within the primal chaos tablet, we would still be at the lowest level of existence in the primal chaos realm, let alone now. After hearing Longao's words, Bai Jing was completely shocked. However, he didn't care at all because even if he devoured the tablet, it wouldn't be easy to refine it and control the primal chaos power. "Brother Long, why did you call me here? One wouldn't visit a temple without a reason." He nodded. "You should already know about my matter. I won't be courteous with you. Go and find me some reliable people. However, they will definitely die. Enter the soaring dragon realm every 2 hours. This matter was too simple for Bai Jing. Although she didn't know what Longao wanted to do, Bai Jing didn't intend to ask too much. She would ask what she should ask, and she wouldn't ask what she shouldn't ask. Find someone who is willing to pay any price. Longao sighed deeply in his heart. This was because he knew very well that once these people stepped into the soaring dragon realm, they would definitely be killed by the Oracle and the others. These people had died for him, so he had to compensate them more or less. Leave this matter to me. With regards to Bai Jing, Longao was still very assured. Bai Jing, after this farewell, I'm afraid we won't see each other again. Just in case, you'd better give up on the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Regarding Longao's meaning, how could Bai Jing not know? She thought for a while. You're right. Anyway, I've already devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet. There's no point in continuing to guard the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Later, I'll hand over the number 1 Starry Sky Empire and find a place to go into seclusion. If fate allows it, we'll meet again in the future. Longao didn't want to implicate Bai Jing. Although they used to be enemies, they were now friends. After Longao left the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, he came to the soaring dragon realm. However, he didn't go near it. Even if he was very conceited, there would still be times when his luck wasn't good. If the Oracle and the others found his tracks, things would be troublesome. Bai Jing chose a total of thousands of people to prepare for future troubles. According to Longao, one person would enter the soaring dragon realm every 2 hours. If that was the case, 1,000 people, one would know what it meant. These people were absolutely loyal to the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. However, Bai Jing still did something. Otherwise, it would be too obvious if one person entered one by one. One person, 5 people, 3 people, 7 people. This order continued to enter the soaring dragon realm. As long as someone stepped into the soaring dragon realm, the oracle and the others would immediately appear. After all, it was still unknown whether Longao had really fallen or not. No one dared to say for sure. However, Master Godly Mathematician and the others had already sensed that something was amiss. No one had entered the soaring dragon realm in the past few years. Why were there suddenly so many people entering the soaring dragon realm every 2 hours? Could it be that Longao had returned? It shouldn't be possible. First of all, Longao had already entered the space crack. As long as there were no accidents, he would definitely die. After all, they knew better than anyone what the space crack meant. Secondly, even if Longao was lucky and didn't fall in the space crack, Longao's strength was there. It was almost impossible for him to force his way into the soaring dragon empire. Longao was not a fool. He would definitely not do that. Because of this, everyone agreed that this was definitely not Longao's doing. Someone must have deliberately done this to control Longao's family. There were only 2 purposes. One was to control Longao's family, and the other was to control Longao's enemies. Regardless of the reason, the divine mathematician and the others would not allow anyone to step into the soaring dragon plane. Anyone who entered would be killed without mercy. In the end, the divine mathematician and the others even laid down a seal. Unless one was a peak Starry Sky immortal or a half-step Starry Sky ruler, no one else could step into the plane. The oracle and the others' intentions were very clear. As everyone knew, Longao's cultivation had successfully broken through the peak Starry Sky immortal realm. Therefore, if Longao came, he would definitely be able to enter the soaring dragon realm. Longao didn't make a move because he knew very well that even if he could break the seal, he wouldn't be able to protect his family. Although with his current strength, he didn't fear the oracle and the others, Cloud Emperor couldn't say much. He was almost certain that he was definitely not Cloud Emperor's opponent. He didn't want to overreach himself and lose more than he gained. After thinking about it, Longao decided to wait until he completely refined the Chaos Tablet and became a Starry Sky Dominator before breaking the seal. At that time, he would have the strength to protect his family. Now that he had refined half of the tablet, who knew how long it would take to refine the last half? It would take 10,000 years to refine the last half. If it was in this vast starry sky, it would probably take hundreds of millions of years. After all, there was a time difference between the 2 vast starry skies. Chapter 28:20. At the beginning, Yundi, Yunlu, and the others would appear, but knowing that someone was deliberately causing trouble, they didn't appear again. However, Longao didn't go to the soaring dragon plane. Now wasn't the time to break the seal of the cave. Tianwu continent. Longao coldly looked at the Tianwu continent in front of him. He sneered and stepped into the Tianwu continent. In the next second, the God Diviner and Yi Dugu appeared. Seeing Longao suddenly appear in front of them, both Yi Dugu and the God Diviner were shocked. The 2 of them had never imagined that Longao would survive the spatial tear. Was this true? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it. The 2 of them knew better than anyone else what a spatial tear meant. Even the 2 of them would have perished if they had entered the spatial tear. Longao, I have to admit that your luck is extraordinary. You actually survived the spatial tear. Since you didn't die, you still dared to come. Longao didn't want to listen to Yi Dugu's nonsense. He waved his hand and said coldly, I came this time to tell you one thing. God Diviner, do you want to know about the primal chaos source? The God Diviner's expression changed. All the rulers of the starry sky knew about the primal chaos source, but they didn't know what it meant. The main reason the God Diviner was guarding the Tianwu Plain was because of the primal chaos source in the Tianwu continent. The primal chaos source is the channel to the primal chaos world. However, it has been sealed by the Yun family. So even if you have primal chaos energy, the Yun family won't let you enter the channel to the primal chaos world. They will even kill you. They were completely shocked. They had only heard about the primal chaos world from Yun Di. They didn't know about it before. However, they hadn't expected Longao to know about the primal chaos world. Their intuition told them that Longao was telling the truth. After all, the Yun family was too mysterious. Longao, so what if it's true? Longao smiled and said, I'm just telling you so that you won't have a chance to regret it if you get killed by the Yun family. The God Diviner's expression was as ugly as it could be. If that was really the case, then perhaps the day they truly grasped the chaotic force would be the day of their downfall. The God Diviner had no doubts about the Yun family's strength. Now, the Yun clan already had Yun Lu and Emperor Yun. Who knew if the Yun clan had any other super experts? He had successfully achieved his goal. This time, he came here. Longao's main goal was to separate the godly mathematician and the others from the Cloud Emperor. Otherwise, if both sides continued to work together, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Longao, no matter what, you have to die. With just you. Hearing Longao's words, Yidugu suddenly faced the sky and laughed loudly. His laughter was filled with endless ridicule and contempt. Longao, you're just a coward who dares to hide in a spatial primal chaos artifact. How dare you talk to me like that? What a joke, what a joke. One-on-one, you're no match for me. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Yidugu couldn't hold it in any longer. It was as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. The God Diviner didn't say anything. He just stared at Longao. He didn't know why, but he felt that Longao was different now. As for what was wrong, he couldn't tell. However, the God Diviner didn't stop him. Longao, do you dare to fight me without hiding in a spatial primal chaos artifact? I'm willing. What if you lose? You can state any conditions you want. Yidugu didn't think that he would lose. What a joke. He was a ruler of the universe, and the other party was just a peak immortal of the universe. They weren't even on the same level. If he lost to Longao, he might as well kill himself. My conditions are simple. As long as I win, the Sky Martial Continent will belong to me. As long as I, Longao, am around, the two of you are not allowed to enter. The God Diviner's face turned serious. The more Longao acted like this, the more uncertain he felt. What was going on with Longao? Why was he so confident? Before the God Diviner could say anything, Yidugu agreed without hesitation, no problem. But I don't believe you. After breaking through to the ruler of the universe, blood oaths were no longer useful. Back then, the God Diviner had promised him not to fight for 10,000 years. But what happened? After suffering a loss once, it was impossible for Longao to suffer a second loss. We can swear an essence soul oath. How about that? No problem. After breaking through to the ruler of the universe, blood oaths were no longer useful. However, there was another oath that was quite useful. This was the so-called essence soul oath. Since things had already come to this, the God Diviner didn't want to say anything more. In truth, he also wanted to see what Longao was relying on. As for the primal chaos spring, the God Diviner already knew that there was more than one such spring in the universe. There was no need for him to guard the Sky Martial Plane to the death. It was just that he had stayed there for so long that he couldn't bear to part with it. Longao, what if you suddenly enter the spatial primal chaos divine artifact when we fight? This was what Yidugu was most worried about. He was very wary of Longao's spatial primal chaos divine artifact. Let alone him, even Emperor Yun couldn't lock onto it. Longao seemed to have guessed that Yidugu would do this. He immediately swore an essence soul oath. He was different from Yidugu. He hadn't truly refined the primal chaos tablet to become a ruler of the universe, so the essence soul oath was still useful to him. This time, not only the god diviner, but even Yidugu was a little surprised. They didn't know what Longao was trying to do. Under normal circumstances, Longao clearly knew that he wasn't strong enough. Why would he swear an essence soul oath not to enter the spatial primal chaos divine artifact? Wasn't that suicidal? Longao wasn't a fool. He definitely wouldn't do this casually. The only explanation was that Longao must have something to rely on. Even so, Yidugu wasn't worried at all. He was a ruler of the universe, while his opponent was a peak starry sky immortal. This was enough to know. Longao, I'd like to see how you're going to beat me today. The god diviner had already retreated hundreds of meters. He also wanted to see what kind of trump card Longao had. After all, the gap between a peak starry sky immortal and a ruler of the universe was too big. They weren't on the same level. Chapter 28-21. This was his first real battle against a ruler of the universe. Actually, Longao wasn't sure if he could beat Yidugu. He had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet. Strictly speaking, he was only half a ruler of the universe. Longao, today I will let you know the difference between a peak universe immortal and a ruler of the universe. You talk too much. Preemptive strike. The primal chaos axe in his hand chopped down at Yidugu. Of the 9 primal chaos axes, the first was devour hell, the second was devour the heavens, and the third was absolute kill. One after the other. Longao was prepared to end this battle as quickly as possible. No matter what. His opponent was still a ruler of the universe. The longer the battle dragged on, the worse it would be for him. The best way was to shorten the battle. That way, he might have a chance to win. Ruler of the universe? Master God Diviner's face darkened, but he quickly shook his head. He could clearly sense that Longao had already refined the primal chaos tablet, but his situation was different from theirs. What was going on? After thinking it over, Master God Diviner finally thought of a possibility. Longao might have only refined half of the primal chaos tablet. The difference between a half-refined primal chaos steel and a true ruler of the stars was too great. Master God Diviner couldn't figure out what was going on. If this was Longao's trump card, then there was no doubt that Longao would lose this fight. Yidugu instantly figured out the problem. He raised his head and laughed. So you've only refined half of the primal chaos tablet. Arrogant, you really are arrogant. Before, he hadn't been able to figure out Longao, but after the first move, Yidugu didn't think much of him anymore. Attack. Yidugu also took out his weapon. It was a very powerful divine weapon. The sword in his hand moved like a snake, strangely striking out. One axe, one sword. For the first move, the two chose to meet force with force. Boom. After refining half of the primal chaos tablet, Longao gradually realized that it was getting harder and harder for him to break through the universe. What was going on? According to normal circumstances, the stronger he was, the more likely he would be able to shatter the starry skies. But the result was the exact opposite. Ever since he refined the Chaos Stone tablet, the power of shattering the starry skies seemed to have decreased by half. He couldn't figure out what was going on. However, Longao's intuition told him that things weren't that simple. He even asserted that if he waited until he completely refined all of the Chaos tablets and became the ruler of space, then it would be even more impossible for him to shatter space. There was a loud bang. Both of them retreated. Yidugu was extremely shocked because he had never imagined that his opponent, who had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet, would actually be able to fight him head-on. You do have some skills. There are many ways, he sneered. Longao didn't give Yidugu any chance to catch his breath. With a stride forward, his figure rushed out again. The speed was extremely fast. End the battle quickly. How could Yidugu not know Longao's intention? He coldly snorted. He had never seen such an arrogant person. A person who had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet actually wanted to end a true ruler of space quickly. He really didn't know the meaning of death. The sword in Yidugu's hand constantly attacked different acupuncture points on Longao's body at an ethereal speed. It looked weak and powerless, but in reality, once it pierced through, the result was obvious. Longao didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless. The chaos axe constantly struck at an even faster speed. Gotcha! Seeing the spirit snake sword in his hand break in two, Yidugu jumped in fright. But after thinking about it, it wasn't much. After all, the axe in his opponent's hand was a Chaos Divine tool that even Lianyun Emperor wanted. Looking at the Chaos Divine tool in Longao's hand, Yidugu's eyes shone with greed. He couldn't wait to snatch it away. If he could obtain this Starry Sky's divine tool, his battle prowess would increase again. In order to obtain this Chaos Divine tool, he first had to kill Longao. In the blink of an eye, the two were once again fighting. Time flew. Unknowingly, a full 10 minutes had passed. Yidugu originally thought that with his strength, killing Longao would be a matter of minutes, as long as Longao didn't hide in the spatial Chaos Divine tool. However, Longao had already sworn a blood oath, so he definitely wouldn't enter. Yidugu originally thought that Longao was too arrogant. He had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet, yet he dared to challenge him. He really didn't know the meaning of death. When the time came for the real battle, Yidugu suddenly realized that things weren't as simple as he had imagined. Longao's strength had already exceeded the scope of his knowledge. This Motherf Kerr wasn't just refining half of the primal chaos stone tablet. Even if he had refined the entire primal chaos stone tablet, he still wouldn't be his opponent in such a short period of time. He really couldn't figure out how Longao had done it. Watching the battle between the two, Master God Diviner's expression became more and more solemn. It seemed that Longao really did have some confidence. He had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet, yet he already had such a powerful battle prowess. It was hard to imagine how strong Longao would be once he fully refined the primal chaos tablet. As the battle continued to escalate, Yidugu suddenly discovered a strange smile on Longao's face when he was fighting with all his might. His heart skipped a beat. What is Longao trying to do? A bad premonition crawled through his body. If it were anyone else, Yidugu wouldn't have put them in his eyes. Only Longao. Now that he thought about it, things weren't that simple. If he wasn't completely confident, Longao wasn't a fool. Why would he casually challenge him? What was it? Yidugu grew more and more anxious. However, he had already sworn a soul-pledging oath. Even if he could, he wouldn't back down like this. As the ruler of the universe, if he backed down like this, he wouldn't be able to pass this trial, let alone the others. Continue. Longao didn't know why, but his movements suddenly began to slow. At a glance, it was clear that he was physically exhausted. Seeing this, Yidugu was delighted. So he was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Thinking about it, he immediately understood. No matter how strong his opponent was, he had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet. Strictly speaking, he couldn't compete with a true ruler of the universe. Ha ha, Longao, so that's all you've got. Today I'll kill you. Ha ha ha. Dugu, be careful. It's too late. Longao, who was gradually losing strength, suddenly smiled strangely. His consciousness began to madly attack Yidugu. It was the nirvana of consciousness that he had just comprehended. Chapter 28-22. Ever since he had refined half of the primal chaos tablet, Longao had comprehended the fourth of the 9 axes, nirvana annihilation. If he had not comprehended this axe, Longao would definitely not have fought with Yidugu. Defeat the ruler of the starry sky? That was a joke. Longao knew that even if he had refined half of the primal chaos tablet, there was no way he could defeat a ruler of the starry sky. But now, the situation was different. He had truly grasped the fourth axe. He knew the power of the 9 axes better than anyone else. As long as he had the chance, he could use nirvana annihilation to defeat Yidugu. However, killing a ruler of the starry sky was impossible without even thinking about it. He couldn't kill him. Longao had never thought of killing Yidugu for 2 reasons. The first reason was that his current strength was not enough to truly destroy a star dominator. The second reason, which was also the most important reason, was because of the Yun family. Longao's intuition told him that the Yun family wasn't so simple. If Yidugu and the others died, the Yun family would go all out to deal with him. Now that Master God Diviner knew about the Primal Chaos Channel and the seal, even if he didn't do anything, he would probably do something in the future. When 2 tigers fought, one was bound to be injured. If both sides were injured, he could just sit back and reap the benefits. Ah! Yidugu screamed. Even if one became a ruler of the starry sky, their Yuan spirit was their weakest point. After all, not everyone could merge with the primal chaos lotus like Longao and form the 9-colored undying Yuan spirit. Longao, Yidugu, you've lost. Looking at Yidugu's painful expression, Longao's heart finally let out a long sigh of relief. In this battle, he relied on the fourth axe to finally win. If it wasn't for Yidugu's carelessness, he wouldn't have won so easily. Longao, it seems I still underestimated you. The martial heaven continent belongs to me now. As if he didn't want to hear Longao say anything else, Master God Diviner waved his hand. Let's go. Master God Diviner and Yidugu didn't stay. They turned and left, vanishing without a trace. Longao, do you think you can protect the sky martial continent? Ha 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 ha. Ignore. As the marvelous mathematician and Yidugu left, Longao finally burst into laughter. Whether or not he was a reincarnation, the martial heaven continent was his foundation. At this moment, he had relied on his own strength to take back the place he had lived in for decades. How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? It would be best if he could open the seal of the cave and bring all his family members over. But he couldn't. Longao knew very well that now was not the time. Although he had just defeated Yidugu, it was almost impossible for him to fight 2 people alone. Furthermore, there was also the even more powerful Yun family. If he were to break the seal of the cave at this time, then he would not have the strength to protect his family. The most important thing now was to think of a way to protect the martial heaven continent. Longao knew that although he relied on defeating Yidugu to seize the sky martial continent, if nothing unexpected happened, there was no news of his death, including the fact that he had already occupied the sky martial continent. He believed that the other rulers of the universe, as well as the Yun family, would continue to come. Ever since he had refined half of the primal chaos tablet and comprehended the fourth axe, Longao no longer had the slightest fear. Even if Emperor Yun came, he could still enter the primal chaos palace. But he couldn't just give away the martial heaven continent that he had obtained with great difficulty. What should he do? Trying to protect the martial heaven continent was truly a headache. It seems like this is the only way. Without any other choice, Longao could only choose to use the primal chaos palace. After refining half of the primal chaos tablet, Longao found that he had made great progress in controlling the primal chaos palace. From this, he could conclude that the non-attributed primal chaos tablet and the primal chaos palace had some kind of connection, including the primal chaos act. Although he was still unable to truly control the Primal Chaos Palace, it was more than enough to cover the entire Tianwu continent with the help of the Primal Chaos Palace. Longao was extremely confident that even if Emperor Yun came personally, he would not be able to split the Primal Chaos Palace apart. Thinking of this, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He immediately took action. No one knew when Emperor Yun and the others would come. Very soon. Roughly 2 hours later, a shocking piece of news spread through the vast universe. Longao, who had stepped into the spatial crack, had not only not died, he had successfully returned. Not only that, but Longao had refined half of the Primal Chaos Tablet. In the future, he would be able to refine all of the Primal Chaos Tablet. As for the matter of Yi Dugu losing to Longao, it wasn't leaked in the slightest. Whether it was the godly mathematician or Yi Dugu, they still couldn't understand how Longao could defeat Yi Dugu. It was truly unbelievable. Even if Yi Dugu was beaten to death, he wouldn't speak of such a shameful matter. The godly mathematician had done this to borrow other people's hands to deal with Longao. After all, they had already sworn a Yuan spirit oath. As long as Longao didn't leave the Martial Heaven continent, they couldn't enter the Martial Heaven continent to deal with Longao. Although Longao had defeated Yi Dugu, Master God Diviner was still confident. In his opinion, the reason Longao had been able to win was not only because of his trump card, the Divine Sense attack, but also because Yi Dugu had underestimated his opponent. Otherwise, how could Longao, who had only refined half of the Chaos Tablet, have defeated his son? It was complete nonsense. Father, what should we do now? After being defeated by Longao due to his carelessness, Yi Dugu was extremely depressed. If it weren't for the Yuan Spirit Oath, he would have long since killed his way back to the Martial Heaven continent. But in the end, reason prevailed over impulse. How could the godly mathematician not know what Yi Dugu was thinking? He smiled. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind? Yi Dugu wasn't a fool. He immediately understood his father's meaning. He smiled and nodded. Father, if what Longao said is true, we have to be on guard against the Yun family. Yes, Longao should be telling the truth. The Primal Chaos Spring is a channel to the Primal Chaos world. The Yun family secretly sealed it. It seems there is a great secret in the starry sky. Then what should we do? Let's do our best to control Primal Chaos energy. The starry sky is vast. It won't be easy for Yundi and the others to deal with us. Furthermore, we have to quickly find another channel to the Primal Chaos. Chapter 28-23. As expected. It was just as Master Godly Mathematician and Yi Dugu had guessed. After receiving the news that Longao was still alive, all the sovereigns, including Cloud Emperor and the others, turned pale with fright. Not only did he not die after entering the spatial rift, he even left unharmed. Was this true? No one doubted it. Master Godly Mathematician and Yi Dugu were sovereigns. How could they joke about this? But what they couldn't figure out was why Master Godly Mathematician and Yi Dugu would give up the Tianwu continent for no reason. It didn't make sense. What the hell happened? They couldn't figure it out. Cloud Emperor, Yun Lu, and the others immediately rushed to the Tianwu continent, including Master Godly Mathematician and the others. Although Master Godly Mathematician and Yi Dugu had sworn a primordial spirit oath not to step into the Tianwu continent, it didn't mean they couldn't wait outside. They could reap the benefits of the fishermen. Let's go. Just as they were about to enter the Tianwu continent, they suddenly found that no one could enter. Their faces changed. Cloud Emperor seemed to have thought of something and said, "According to my guess, Longao can already control this spatial chaos divine artifact. The Tianwu continent is now covered by the spatial chaos divine artifact." Everyone was helpless. They never thought that Longao would not only survive in the spatial rift, but also refine half of the primordial chaos divine artifact. Everyone was well aware of what this meant. As long as there was enough time, Longao would be able to completely refine the primordial chaos divine artifact and become a sovereign of starry sky. If that was the case, it would be even harder to kill Longao. Letting the tiger return to the mountain would cause endless trouble. But it was too late for regrets. They thought that they could enter the Tianwu continent and kill Longao. They didn't believe that Longao would dare to enter the spatial rift. But the result? Senior Cloud, is there really no way for us to break it? Everyone was very depressed. They had a total of 15 sovereigns, and Cloud Emperor had mastered the primordial chaos divine artifact. It was hard to imagine how powerful they would be if they joined forces. Even if Longao's spatial chaos divine artifact was powerful, it couldn't withstand the combined might of 15 sovereigns. Emperor Yun sighed and said helplessly, "You have underestimated Longao's spatial chaos divine weapon." No one said anything. "I've already told you, Longao's space-type chaos divine artifact is something that not even those who are many times stronger than us can break. It seems as long as Longao is hiding inside, there is nothing we can do." Of course, Long Mie and the others didn't believe him. Apart from the 5 of them, the other 10 were still attacking together. Boom, boom, boom. There was no movement. Cloud Emperor shook his head with a smile and said, "Longao must have known that this spatial chaos divine tool can stop us. That's why he's so fearless." Regardless of whether it was Emperor Yun or Yun Lu, both had boundless greed. If he could obtain this starry sky spatial artifact in Longao's hands, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Senior Cloud Emperor, please think of something. Longao has already refined half of the Chaos Tablet. Once he finishes refining it and becomes the ruler of space, none of us will be his match. He's just a normal human. Emperor Yun did not take Longao seriously at all. To him, Longao was just lucky to have found 2 chaos divine weapons in this vast universe. That didn't mean anything. For someone who had not even mastered the power of chaos, he was just a normal human in the chaos world. Given his strength, killing Longao was something that could be done in a matter of minutes. Looking at Emperor Yun's silence, Master Godly Mathematician was no fool. He could guess what Emperor Yun was thinking. He cursed in his heart. Emperor Yun had his family as his backing. Even if Longao were to become the ruler of space, he would still pose no threat to the Yun family. Even if Longao were to master the power of chaos, the Yun family would not be bothered. That was Emperor Yun's trump card. Just because Emperor Yun was not afraid did not mean that they were not. That was especially true of Master God Diviner and Yi Dugu. It didn't matter whether or not Longao had been lucky or Yi Dugu had been careless. That in itself showed that Longao's strength had increased dramatically, and he had only refined half of the primal chaos stone tablet. It was hard to imagine that if Longao were to really refine the chaos tablet and become the ruler of space, no one here would be a match for Longao other than Emperor Yun. Senior Emperor Yun, please make your move. Everything on Longao's body will be yours. The others all agreed. As long as they could kill Longao, it would be fine. After all, Longao's talent and strength were too terrifying. Who knew if he would be able to refine all the Chaos Tablets in a few more years? Since they could not enter the Sky Martial Continent, Longao could just hide in the Sky Martial Continent and refine the Chaos Tablet. The more they thought about it, the more worried they became. Longao's talent and luck were too good. It was a little perverted. As for Emperor Yun, although there was not the slightest bit of anxiety on the surface and he was very indifferent, in fact, he was also very afraid in his heart. Although they had already sent support to the family in the Chaos world, who knew when the family would send people over? His strength might be invincible in the starry sky, but for the variable Longao, even he was a little worried. Longao's talent went without saying. According to the legends, Longao had only risen in a few hundred years, perhaps not even 1,000 years. Such talent, let alone in the vast universe, even in the primal chaos world, would be a peak existence. If he waited until Longao had truly refined the Chaos Tablet and grasped the power of chaos, and if the clan's reinforcements hadn't arrived, he didn't have the slightest confidence that he could kill Longao. The best way was to kill Longao now and eliminate all future troubles. Moreover, he could also obtain the 2 chaotic divine tools on Longao's body. If he waited until the people of his family came down, then everything on Longao's body would not belong to him. Thinking of this, I haven't thought of a way yet. Everyone, regarding Longao's talent and strength, I believe you all have a first-hand experience. Not only that, his luck is also quite good. Hence, we are now in an alliance. From now on, everyone will do their best. We must kill Longao in the shortest time possible. Otherwise, when Longao grows up, think of the consequences. Everyone nodded and said in unison, that should be the case. Some of them weren't too willing, but due to everyone's deterrence, they had no choice. However, they had already thought it through. When the time came, they might not attack Longao. Chapter 28-24. There were only 3 people who did not want to be Longao's enemy. They were the Massacre Sovereign Luomu, the Lightning Sovereign Luomu, and the indestructible tyrant body Xian Tong. It was still the same. The 3 of them could only pretend to deal with Longao due to the deterrence of the divine mathematician and Emperor Yun. They were helpless. As for Longao's former friends, Long Ming and Ji Mei, they strongly advocated for Longao's destruction. That was the difference. Longao knew better than anyone whether the 10 astral sovereigns were friends or foes. That was exactly the case. Emperor Yun and the others had already chosen to leave. After all, there was no way to deal with Longao in a short period of time. They each thought of a way. No matter who thought of a way, they would inform the others to deal with Longao together. Sky Martial Plane. With the protection of the Primal Chaos Palace, Longao did not have to worry about anyone entering. There was no one in the Sky Martial Plane other than him. Back then, the divine mathematician had destroyed everyone in the Sky Martial continent to deal with him. He was furious. After this matter was resolved, he was prepared to open up the Sky Martial continent. Other than his family, he would continue to take in cultivators. Brother Long, we are really happy to see that you are not dead. Xian Tong, Ruamu, and Luomu had all entered the Sky Martial continent. The 3 of them knew very well that if not for Longao opening the Primal Chaos Palace, they would not have been able to enter. They were shocked. They had never seen a Primal Chaos Divine artifact. If not for this matter, they would not have even heard of it. It was worthy of being a supreme existence above the Cosmos Divine artifact. The Primal Chaos Divine artifact was too powerful. Not to mention them, even Emperor Yun could not break it. Before Longao could speak, Xian Tong sighed deeply and said guiltily, Brother Long, the 3 of us had no choice. If we did not come, we would not have been able to resist if they joined forces. Luomu also said helplessly, if it was just the 7 of them, we would not be afraid. Only Emperor Yun and Yun Lu. At this point, Luomu did not continue, but the meaning of his words was clear. If it was not a last resort, the 3 of them would not have done this. It was simply embarrassing. Of course, Longao did not have the slightest bit of enmity towards the 3 of them. If he saw the 3 of them as enemies, he wouldn't have done this. In Jianghu, you can't help yourself. Longao smiled and continued, I know Emperor Yun's strength better than you do. Plus, you didn't attack me before. I still treat you as my friends. Us too. The 3 of them were not afraid of Longao. First, the way the 3 of them saw it, given Longao's talent, it was certain that he would one day refine the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of space. He was even more terrifying than Cloud Emperor. Secondly, they did see Longao as a friend. It was just that other than Cloud Emperor and the others, there was nothing they could do. Chaos Realm. Longao did not hide anything from the three of them. He told them about the Primal Chaos Realm and the Primal Chaos Passageway. The more he listened, the more shocked he became. He sighed deeply. After the three of them learned about the Primal Chaos Realm and the Primal Chaos Passageway, their faces turned serious because they were not fools. In fact, the three of them had already guessed that Cloud Emperor's family was not simple. But they did not expect the Yun family to come from the Primal Chaos Realm and be able to stay in the vast universe. Cloud Emperor could be said to be the most powerful person in the vast universe. They just could not figure out how the Yun family did it. Cloud Emperor was not forcibly taken into the Primal Chaos Realm. Brother Long, what do you mean by this? Intuition told them that Longao's visit this time was not that simple. In that case, I'll be frank. He smiled. Longao did not feel embarrassed at all. After all, he could not defeat the Oracle and Cloud Emperor alone. As for the people of his family and the team he secretly formed, none of them could refine the Primal Chaos Tablet. As for the Mystic Realm, he chose to ignore it. In front of a ruler of space, a half-step ruler of space was at most a joke, a big joke. With my strength alone, I'm no match for them. The three of them did not speak. Thousands of years ago, I obtained 9 Primal Chaos Tablets and distributed them to 9 people. And my family let me calculate there should be more than 20 people who devoured the tablet. If they can refine them in the future. At this point, Longao did not continue. He knew that as long as the three of them were not fools, they would understand. As expected, after listening to Longao's words, the three of them were stunned. More than 30 rulers of space. If that was the case, in the future, Longao would be the only one in the vast universe. If more rulers of space who could control the Primal Chaos Realm appeared in the Soaring Dragon Empire, then even the Yun family would be no match for them. Brother Long, if you have something to say, just say it. The three of them knew very well that Longao had told them so many secrets. It was definitely not that simple. I believe that the three of you have already guessed. Although I have obtained many Primal Chaos Tablets, it takes too long to refine them. If this continues, I don't know how long I will have to wait. And in the current situation, time is of the essence for me. The three of them understood the meaning behind his word. Because of this, their expressions became more and more serious. I am alone now. If the three of you are willing to help, then I welcome it. In the future, I, Longao, will definitely return today's favor. As expected, what they feared would happen. In fact, the three of them had no intention of getting involved in this battle. Whether it was Longao or Emperor Yun, they did not want to provoke either side. However, things had already come to this. They did not want to agree, but they did not want to refuse. They could neither advance nor retreat. They were in a dilemma. How could Longao not know about their concerns? He did not force them. If the three of them were not willing, he would still treat them as friends. After all, he had to face the clairvoyant and the powerful Yun family. Brother Long, you know the strength of the Yun family. If we agree, I'm afraid, Emperor Yun's strength is obvious. He also has a Primal Chaos Divine tool. The most helpless thing is that the Yun family is from the Primal Chaos Realm. The three of them were very clear. They were not willing to agree. Longao had already guessed this result. He was not surprised. After all, no matter who it was, they would choose to do this. No one would complain about living too long. Since the three of you are not willing, then I will not force you. I hope that the three of you will not appear in the future. Otherwise, you will be implicated. I cannot guarantee that. Although Longao treated the three of them as friends, if the three of them appeared again and again, even if they were friends, sometimes it was not up to him. Chapter 28-25. The three of them were indeed feeling guilty. Xian Tong suddenly stood up and said firmly, "Brother Long, I, Xian Tong, have let you down. From now on, I, Xian Tong, will be your friend and brother. We will live and die together." What did Xian Tong mean? Hearing Xian Tong's words, both Luo Mu and Ruo Mu looked at Xian Tong in shock. They knew Xian Tong too well. What was wrong with Xian Tong? Why did he agree to Longao's request? They knew better than anyone else what it meant to agree. It was still the same sentence. If it was really the 7 of them, they wouldn't be afraid even if they couldn't win. After all, it wouldn't be easy for the 7 of them to kill them. But now, the situation was completely different. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were powerful, and the Yun family had a chaotic divine weapon. The 2 of them knew that if Emperor Yun and the others were determined to kill them, it would be troublesome. For Longao, at that time, even his life would be lost. Was it worth it? Definitely not. Not to mention them, no matter who it was, they would have made the same choice. Brother? The 2 of them didn't think much of it. They wanted to ask Xian Tong what was going on, but they held themselves back. If Xian Tong wanted to die, they couldn't stop him. Longao was even more surprised. Although he invited the 3 of them to deal with Emperor Yun and the marvelous mathematician, he knew very well that the 3 of them wouldn't dare to form an alliance with him even if he beat them to death. It was completely suicidal. But what was the result? "Thank you." He didn't say anything else because Xian Tong had already made his stance clear. He didn't want to say anything else. "Brother Long, Brother Xian Tong, since that's the case, the 2 of us will take our leave first. As for what we said earlier, the 2 of us can guarantee that from now on, no matter what happens, we will not interfere." His purpose this time was to make the 3 of them retreat. If the 3 of them continued to attack, even if they didn't really attack him, Longao wouldn't be polite. It was good to have one less enemy. "Take care, we won't see you out." They were neither friends nor enemies. Luo Mu and Weak Tree's intentions were very clear. They wanted to remain neutral. Longao didn't force them, because it was already very good that the 2 of them could do this. Even his good brothers, Yi Mei and Long Ming, couldn't do this. "Xian Tong, I want to ask you, why did you make such a choice?" Longao was really curious. After all, with the threat of the Clairvoyant, the Cloud Emperor, and the others, if Xian Tong chose to ally with him, he would be doomed eternally. Xian Tong merely smiled. "Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. According to what you said before, even if I don't help you, after they kill you, or one day when I master the primal chaos, I believe that I will also die." Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. "Even if I can't master the power of chaos, I'm afraid Emperor Yun won't let everyone in the vast starry sky go. Your analysis is very correct." Xian Tong was very smart, because Longao also thought of this point. He said, "Although I don't know the purpose of the Yun family, according to my friend, the Yun family itself is from the Chaos Realm. Under normal circumstances, the Chaos Realm wouldn't interfere in the affairs of the vast starry sky, and there shouldn't be anyone who masters the power of chaos here. It seems that the Yun family used a secret method to force Emperor Yun to stay here." Xian Tong nodded in agreement. In fact, when Longao said this, he had already guessed that this would be the result. It was precisely because of this that after thinking about it, he decided to form an alliance with Longao. It was a glimmer of hope. If he didn't ally with Longao, he wouldn't even have a glimmer of hope. "Brother Long, what are you going to do next?" This was the most important thing. Xian Tong certainly wanted to master the power of chaos. If possible, he also wanted to go to the legendary Chaos Realm to have a look. Although it was full of endless danger, he seemed to have been a little too comfortable since he became the ruler of the starry sky. Too much comfort wasn't a good thing. "Xian Tong, you and I are brothers now. I won't hide it from you. Just as the Oracle and the others said, I've already refined half of the Chaos Tablet. In the future, when I refine the remaining half, Unless Emperor Yun personally attacks, no one will be my match. That includes the oracle. If anyone else dared say this, Xian Tong would have slapped them across the face. Only Longao. Xian Tong hadn't imagined that in a few short years, Longao would be able to refine even half of the Chaos Tablet. He knew very well how long it had taken him to refine the Chaos Tablet. A genius. Xian Tong could almost say that in the future, Longao's achievements would be limitless. This time, following Longao, he might be able to go even further in the future. When all of us have refined the Chaos Tablet, then. At this point, Longao didn't continue, but the meaning of his words was clear. The main reason why Xian Tong stayed behind this time was because of what Longao had said before. If more than 30 people had devoured the Chaos Tablet, it meant that in the future, Longao would have more than 30 rulers of the universe under his command. Such strength was enough to dominate the entire universe. Even Emperor Yun wouldn't dare to provoke him. Luo Mu and Ruo Mu had also thought of this point. However, the two of them were very clear that even if Longao's family had devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, so what? Refining the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was not an easy task. Who knew how long it would take? 10,000 years? 100 million years? 100 million years? Or maybe they would never be able to refine it. If they couldn't wait until everyone refined the Chaos Tablet, then sorry, everyone would follow in Longao's footsteps and be killed. If they didn't even have their lives, how could they refine the Chaos Tablet? Because of this, whether it was Luo Mu or Ruo Mu, they didn't dare to bet on Longao. No one thought that their lives were too long, especially when the other party had an expert like Emperor Yun. They didn't dare to be presumptuous. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt, but your family members have already devoured the Chaos Tablet. It's not very realistic for them to refine the Chaos Tablet. Therefore, we have to think of other ways to stop the Oracle and Emperor Yun. Otherwise, it's not just us, even your family members will not be able to survive. If it had been before, Xian Tong wouldn't have said this. However, the situation was different now. He and Longao had formed an alliance, and even called each other brothers. Therefore, although his words were harsh, they were the truth. Longao didn't care at all. How could he not know Xian Tong's worries? Chapter 28-26. Xian Tong, do you have a way? The Sky Martial Continent had the back lake of the Primal Chaos Palace. Longao was not worried about Cloud Emperor and the rest barging in. Xian Tong nodded and said, Longao, if nothing goes wrong, Emperor Yun, the marvelous mathematician and the others will force their way in a few months. They can't get in. Soaring Dragon Realm. Hearing the words Soaring Dragon Realm, Longao's face suddenly changed. Until this moment, Longao did not dare to say whether the seal of the chaotic rock, Xiling and Long Chong could really withstand the seal of the many rulers of Starry Sky. What if it was broken? It was better to be safe than sorry. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Xian Tong already knew that the Soaring Dragon Realm was Longao's weakness. Starry Sky cultivators were most afraid of this kind of thing. As long as you had a weakness, your chances of winning would be greatly reduced. Brother Long, if possible, why don't you gather everyone in the Soaring Dragon Realm here? How could Longao not know what Xian Tong meant? Could he really do that? Longao had thought about this question countless times. If he could master the power of chaos, then he could even fight against Emperor Yun. But now, the situation did not allow him to do so. If he brought everyone to the Sky Martial Continent, if the Chaos Palace was breached or he left here, then it would be a fatal blow to his family. He could not afford to gamble. He could not afford to lose. Once he lost, he would lose everything and regret it for the rest of his life. I can't do that, I can't afford to lose. It was a simple sentence, but Longao's meaning was very clear. Xian Tong seemed to have guessed that Longao would do that. Then what are you going to do? Xian Tong also knew that Longao could not give up the soaring dragon realm. If that was the case, if Emperor Yun and the others really joined forces to break the seal, then it would be a devastating blow to the soaring dragon realm. As for what Longao was going to do, Xian Tong did not know. However, Xian Tong had already made up his mind. Since he had already chosen to follow Longao, he would follow him through life and death, even if it meant that he was doomed eternally. Longao clearly understood what Xian Tong was thinking in his heart. It was also because of this that he revealed all of his secret. He sighed deeply. Looking at Xian Tong in front of him, Longao said helplessly, "We can't afford to lose. The current situation is very unfavorable to us. The only way is to strengthen the seal so that Emperor Yun and the others can't break it." Difficult. It was indeed difficult, extremely difficult. Both Longao and Xian Tong were completely confident that Master God Diviner and the others wouldn't be able to break the sealing mark. Only Emperor Yun and Yun Lu remained. Regardless of whether it was Emperor Yun or Yun Lu, both of them had already mastered chaotic force. Once Yun Lu's injuries were completely healed, it was still unknown if the two of them would be able to break the seal of the cave dwelling if they joined forces. It would be best if it couldn't be broken. What if they broke it? At that time, they wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Longao and Xian Tong naturally thought of this. Hence, it was too difficult to continue strengthening the seal. No matter what, Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were too strong. The seal by the chaotic Great Rock and two starry sky rulers was already very strong. Even if they strengthened the seal, it wouldn't be that easy. Longao was also very conflicted. In fact, he had a way, which was to use his Chaos Palace. Longao was completely confident that as long as his Chaos Palace covered the entire soaring dragon realm, even if Yun Lu recovered from his injuries, he wouldn't be able to break the Chaos Palace even if he joined forces with Emperor Yun. However, there was a hard condition, which was that he couldn't leave the soaring dragon realm. Once he left, the Chaos Palace would definitely leave with him. Could it be that he had to refine it in the soaring dragon realm? Let's go. Where to? The soaring dragon realm. Xian Tong had already guessed something and didn't ask any more questions. The two left the sky martial continent and quickly headed towards the soaring dragon realm. Longao repeatedly thought about it. If the godly mathematician and Yi Dugu didn't enter the sky martial continent, no one else would be able to. After all, the primal chaos source was a forbidden area of the Yun family. If anyone dared to open it, they would probably be killed by Emperor Yun. How could the crowd not know about this? As for Longao's whereabouts, everyone had already guessed it. However, they didn't do anything. No matter what, the spatial chaos divine tool in Longao's hands was too heaven-defying. Not to mention others, even Emperor Yun couldn't break it. Everyone was thinking of a way to break the seal. Time passed, and 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. In these 3 years, Longao had been refining the remaining half of the non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet. Everyone who was outside was called back, especially the 9 people who had devoured the 9 primal chaos stone tablet. Once they refined the primal chaos stone tablets, the 9 of them would become the rulers of the universe. However, 3 years was too short for Longao. The primal chaos stone tablets didn't even have the slightest movement. According to the time difference, when he refined the primal chaos stone tablets in the immortal world, it took him about 10,000 years. If he wanted to refine the remaining primal chaos stone tablets, it would take him about 30,000 to 90,000 years, or even longer. Longao couldn't wait any longer. He knew that Emperor Yun and the others wouldn't let him off easily. If it was just Emperor Yun, it would be fine. At most, he wouldn't leave the soaring dragon realm. Emperor Yun and the others wouldn't be able to break through the primal chaos palace. The only thing that worried Longao was the family behind Emperor Yun. It was the Yun family from the primal chaos realm. Longao knew very well what it meant for the Yun family to be able to stand in the primal chaos realm. They had countless experts. If Emperor Yun sent reinforcements to the primal chaos realm, and a few of them suddenly joined forces, who knew if his primal chaos realm could withstand them? The more he thought about it, the more worried he became. If it was really as he thought, then things would be troublesome. Until now, he still didn't know the classification of the primal chaos energy. However, he was sure that even Emperor Yun would be the weakest existence in the primal chaos realm. Brother Long, Emperor Yun said something before? Tell me. The primal chaos rock is Huajinping. According to Emperor Yun, Huajinping is a mid-god, and he is no match for Huajinping. Mid-god? Longao knew that this was the classification of strength in the primal chaos realm. However, Emperor Yun didn't say it clearly, so he couldn't guess. The only thing he was sure of was that Huajinping could defeat Emperor Yun at his peak. However, Huajinping wasn't only severely injured, he even burned his own energy to seal the cave. Even if he could break the seal, Huajinping wouldn't be a match for Emperor Yun. Longao, why don't you break the seal now? With Huajinping's help, you and I might be able to master the primal chaos energy. Chapter 28-27. How could Longao not know what Xian Tong meant? If it was before, Huajinping might have been able to help him. But now, Xian Tong, Huajinping burned his own power to help me seal the cave abode. I don't even know if he's dead. Ah! He was startled. Xian Tong didn't expect things to be so serious. He was also guessing the relationship between Longao and Huajinping for him to risk his life to help Longao seal the cave abode. Unbelievable. He didn't say anything else. Xian Tong, even if we have a way to control the power of chaos, this isn't the time. If you can control the power of chaos, I can guarantee that the Yun family in the chaos realm will send someone over immediately. Longao was sure that Emperor Yun must have sent a message back to the Yun family in the chaos realm. Under normal circumstances, the Yun family should have sent someone over. But in the end, no one came down until now. Longao guessed that something must have happened to the Yun family. After all, he had 2 chaos divine weapons. It was too tempting. What was it that caused the Yun family to waste time? For some reason, the Yun family wanted to seal a vast starry sky. After all, the vast starry sky was insignificant to the chaos realm. Especially for the Yun family. How could such a powerful family seal a vast starry sky? The only explanation was that there was something unknown in the vast starry sky. The Yun family didn't want others in the chaos realm to know about it. Hence, they sealed the vast starry sky and didn't allow anyone to control the power of chaos to enter the chaos realm. Although it was just a guess, Longao was confident. However, it wasn't absolute. If someone really controlled the power of chaos and was forcefully sucked into the channel, the Yun family would rush over immediately. He told Xian Tong about his worries. Xian Tong nodded and said helplessly, Longao, our path is too dangerous. If the Yun family sends someone over, we'll definitely die. Xian Tong had no confidence at all. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were enough of a headache. Now there was the Yun family. Longao smiled and said firmly, Xian Tong, since you've chosen to be my brother, Longao, I won't let you down. You'll be excited about your choice today. Was that really the case? If it were anyone else, Xian Tong would definitely disagree. However, it was Longao who said it. He was a monster who had created countless miracles. Xian Tong didn't regret it at all. Since he had made his choice, he wouldn't regret it no matter what price he had to pay. In the vast starry skies, in an extremely secluded but elegant valley, Yun Lu's expression was gloomy to the extreme. He said solemnly, Father, our news has already been sent back to the clan. According to normal circumstances, the clan should have already sent people down. There was something fishy going on. If it had been in the past, Emperor Yun would not have wanted his family to send someone down so soon. After all, he wanted to get his hands on Longao's chaotic divine weapon. However, the situation was different now. Just as Lu had said, under normal circumstances, the family members should have come down by now. However, no one had been seen until now. Even Emperor Yun felt that something was amiss. "Father!" He waved his hand. Emperor Yun's face was also very ugly. He said, "Lu, you should know the status of our clan in the Chaos Realm. There are too many forces that can easily destroy our clan." Yun Lu didn't say anything. Countless years ago, the clan suddenly discovered that there was an inheritance in this starry skies. However, we didn't dare to send a large number of people in. Only the two of us used a secret technique to enter this place and seal all the chaos passageways in the starry skies. If the passageways are opened by force and the clan members enter, I'm afraid this matter will be leaked. Yun Lu gradually understood what his father meant. The Yun clan might have some status in the Chaos Realm, but there were too many forces and people who could destroy the Yun clan. Sigh. Emperor Yun sighed heavily and said helplessly, "Although I don't know if the two chaotic divine weapons in Longao's hands are the treasures we are looking for, and I don't know if the inheritance is still there. However, I do know one thing. If we can get the inheritance in time, the Yun clan will be able to stand at the top of the Chaos Realm from now on." They had to get the inheritance. It was easy to think about it, but it was difficult to actually do it. If it was so easy to find, they wouldn't have to guard this place for so many years. In particular, this matter couldn't be leaked out. Otherwise, not only would the inheritance go to waste, but it would also bring disaster to the clan. However, Emperor Yun had a bad feeling in his heart. Could something have happened to the clan? He didn't dare to believe it, but he didn't want to believe it either. Although his clan wasn't much in the Chaos Realm, they still had some strength in that place. Under normal circumstances, no one would dare to touch his clan. The reason why the clan didn't come was because they didn't dare to casually open the passage. It seems like the clan doesn't want to leak the information here. Let us deal with this matter. Father, Longao has a chaotic divine weapon protecting him. We can't break it open at all. As long as he hides in there, we can't do anything to him. According to the clairvoyant, Longao has refined half of the Chaos Tablet. I believe that in less than 100 years, Longao will be able to refine the remaining Chaos Tablet. At that time, it will be even harder for us to kill him. Would it really take 100 years? Yun Lu wasn't surprised in the slightest. This was because Longao had stepped into the spatial crack and refined the primal Chaos Tablet. It hadn't even been a few years since then. Who knew if Longao could refine the remaining primal Chaos Tablets in a few years? After all, Longao was a variable, an uncontrollable variable. If they couldn't kill Longao now, then there was no way they'd be able to wait until Longao became the ruler of space. If that happened, they'd be in a passive position. In truth, the two of them didn't know that Longao had spent over 10,000 years refining half of the Chaos Tablet. However, there was an absolute difference in time between the Chaos Realm and the Immortal World. Even so, Longao could refine half of the Chaos Tablet in 10,000 years. He was a genius among geniuses. In the Chaos Realm, he wouldn't be considered much, but here in the Chaos Realm, they were in the Chaos Realm. Think of a way to break the Space Chaos Divine Tool in Longao's hands. This kid's transformation is too big. If he destroys our plan, the family will definitely not spare you and me. Father, we've been searching for so long but haven't found the inheritance. Could it be that the information the clan received was wrong? That there's no such thing as an inheritance here? Chapter 28:28 Inheritance. Upon hearing the word inheritance, Emperor Yun's face turned ugly. The family had only received news that there was a super expert's inheritance in this galaxy. As for whether it existed or not, it was still unknown. Even so, the Yun family still made a decision. No matter the price, they had to obtain the inheritance. Because only by obtaining the inheritance could the Yun family rise. If you and I were still in the Chaos Realm, with our talents and the family's nurturing, I believe we would have broken through to the Middle God Realm. But ever since we came to this galaxy, our realms have not improved. Yunlu also sighed. For the family, they could not improve their realms for countless years. Other than the galaxy not being able to support us to break through, we can't break through either. Otherwise, we would be forcefully sucked into the Chaos Channel. Father, is it worth it for us to do this? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Not only Yun Lu, but even Emperor Yun had asked himself countless times whether it was worth it. If there was no inheritance in this starry sky, then the time they had wasted here would have been wasted. How could they be willing? Thinking of this, Emperor Yun clenched his fists. Suddenly, he smiled and said, "Even if there is no inheritance, we can still get 2 chaos artifacts. It is worth it." Thinking of how powerful Longao's 2 chaos artifacts were, Yun Lu smiled too. "How is Qian-er?" "Father, I am being stripped of my memories." The Cloud Emperor's expression changed slightly, and he said in a cold voice, "Are you crazy? If you strip Qian-er of her memories, no matter how much the family pays, Qian-er will stop at the level of a lower god. She will never become a middle god." "Father." "Humph." Emperor Yun snorted. His voice became even colder as he said, "Qian-er is the most talented person in the Yun family in the past 10,000 years. She has already devoured the Chaos Tablet in the galaxy. When she returns to the family, she will definitely break through to the Middle God Realm, or even higher. You want to strip Qian-er's memories? Who gave you the courage?" It was very depressing. "Father, Qian-er is also my daughter. If it was not a last resort, I would not be willing to do this." Of course, Emperor Yun knew what was going on. It was a headache. He really could not figure out why this precious granddaughter of his did not like other people, but liked Longao. But after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Putting aside their hostile relationship, Longao's talent and luck were not bad. Such a person could grow to a very high level even in the Chaos Realm, let alone here. "I will contact the family as soon as possible. If we still can't find the inheritance, we will ask the family to allow us to return." Go back? Could they really go back? Hearing the word return, Yun Lu's body visibly trembled. Ever since he left his clan in the primal Chaos Realm, Yun Lu had been thinking about going back. Although he could be invincible in the vast starry sky, this was ultimately not his home. Not in the past, not now, and definitely not in the future. However, Yun Lu, who had just been extremely excited, seemed to have thought of something. "Like a deflated balloon," he said, "before we can confirm whether or not there is an inheritance in this vast starry sky, I think the clan will definitely not allow us to return." Cloud Emperor was well aware of this. "I'll try my best. Even if it doesn't work, they can recruit new people to replace us. We've been guarding this place for so many years. It's time for someone else to take over." Cloud Emperor was completely confident that as long as he could successfully return to the primal Chaos Realm, it wouldn't be long before he could become a god. Although there was only a difference of 1 level between a god and a god, no one knew better than him just how big the gap between the two was. "Father, then what about Qian-er?" Thinking of his own daughter, Yun Lu felt a deep sense of helplessness. As a father, he could clearly sense that his daughter had truly fallen in love with Longao. Although he didn't want to believe it, the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. He felt very helpless. "Let me think about Qian-er." The soaring dragon realm. Longao was still constantly refining the primal chaos tablets within his body. He had only refined half of the primal chaos tablet. In a short period of time, It was impossible to refine the remaining half of the primal chaos tablet. At the very least, it would take tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. Regarding this, Longao was extremely helpless. After all, refining the primal chaos tablets wasn't something that could be shortened. However, Longao was almost certain that if he entered the primal chaos realm to refine the primal chaos tablets, the time needed would be shortened countless times. It was just that he couldn't enter the primal chaos realm. He had once left the soaring dragon realm and had properly investigated the primal chaos channel. The final result: unless one could control the power of primal chaos, one could only enter the primal chaos channel. Otherwise, if one tried to force their way in, they would only be killed by the power of primal chaos. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't even be able to step into the outermost region. Only Longao, with all his trump cards, could enter and exit the outermost region freely. But even so, what could he do? Very helpless, but not too troubled. Because Longao knew that even if he could enter the primal chaos channel, at least now wasn't the best time. There were still many things to deal with here. If he entered the primal chaos realm, he probably wouldn't be able to return until he reached a very high realm. The most important thing now was to refine the primal chaos tablet. Only by becoming a starry sky dominator could he truly have the power to protect himself. Longao, do you have time? Would you like to chat? Why is Emperor Yun here? Xian Tong's face was very solemn, but he wasn't worried at all. He had full confidence in Longao's heaven-defying primal chaos artifact. If Emperor Yun could break the seal, he would have entered long ago. I also have many things to discuss with him. Longao wasn't worried in the slightest. Just in case. He won't make a move at this time. Longao left the soaring dragon realm, but the primal chaos palace left with him. Xian Tong was very vigilant in guarding the realm, just in case Emperor Yun wanted to lure the tiger away from the mountain. Seeing that Longao had really come out, Emperor Yun said with admiration, "Don't worry, while we're talking, no one will dare to make a move, not even the oracle." Understood. If he didn't have the slightest confidence, Longao wouldn't have dared to leave so casually. After all, without the protection of the primal chaos palace, who knew if the oracle and the others would launch a sneak attack? Until now, he still didn't know how long the cave-dwelling seal could hold. "Why are you looking for me?" Now that they were enemies, Longao couldn't figure out why Emperor Yun suddenly looked for him. Chapter 28-29. Please. Longao wasn't worried in the slightest. Unless Emperor Yun was 100% sure that he could break through his Chaos Palace, he would be safe as long as he entered the Chaos Palace. Longao followed Emperor Yun all the way to the east. Both of them were extremely fast. In just a few minutes, they had arrived at the Yun family's base camp. Was Emperor Yun planning to attack him? Longao laughed in his heart. He didn't think it was possible. He could clearly sense that Emperor Yun didn't have any killing intent towards him. "Longao, I want to ask, where did you get the 2 Chaos Divine weapons?" It was about the Chaos Divine weapons again. Even though Longao had a rough idea of what was going on, he still felt disgusted when he heard Emperor Yun ask about the Chaos Divine artifact. Emperor Yun seemed to be able to read Longao's mind and didn't care at all. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Emperor Yun continued, "If I'm not mistaken, you should know something." "Very little." Emperor Yun smiled. "Back then." "Father, are you going to tell him?" Hearing that his father was going to tell Longao about the inheritance, Yun Lu was shocked. If the family knew about it, not only his father, but he and Xian would also be implicated. What was wrong with his father? Why would he tell Longao about the inheritance? It could be said that the inheritance was the family's biggest secret. Not to mention outsiders, even many in the family didn't know about it. Emperor Yun smiled and waved his hand, saying, "I know what I'm doing." Looking at Longao, he said, Back then, our family accidentally found a shocking secret. In this galaxy there is an inheritance of an expert. If our family could get it, at this point, Cloud Emperor did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he could understand. He was shocked. All the mysteries were solved. In the end, the Yun family in the Chaos Realm found the inheritance of an expert in the galaxy and wanted to take it for themselves. Hence, they used a secret method to bring Emperor Yun and the others here. With Emperor Yun and Yun Lu's strength, they were invincible existences in this place. Back then, we slaughtered all the Starry Sky Dominators to prevent anyone from entering the Primal Chaos Realm. But even after countless years of searching, we still haven't found any information about the inheritance. Yun Lu was completely depressed. What happened to father? Why did he even tell her about the massacre of the Starry Sky cultivators? After all, it was a family secret. Longao didn't care, as he had already guessed something. It was reasonable to slaughter all the Starry Sky rulers in order to obtain the inheritance of a powerhouse. In order to prevent the secret from being leaked, no matter who it was, they would have done the same. There was no doubt about that. Understood. Hearing Longao's answer, Cloud Emperor nodded and said, "In the chaotic realm, the strong are respected. If we want our family to go further, we must." Longao, of course, knew what Emperor Yun wanted to say. He waved his hand and interrupted Emperor Yun, saying, "The matter of your family and inheritance seems to have nothing to do with me. However, you attacked me for no reason. I will settle this score with you in the future." Humph! Yun Tian, who was behind Yun Lu, snorted coldly when he heard this, but when he saw the look in his ancestor's eyes, he forced himself to endure it. "Longao, no matter where you go, the strong are respected. If this happened in the chaotic realm, I believe countless people would come to snatch it. This is not the chaotic realm." Longao didn't feel much disgust. As Emperor Yun said, no matter where he went, the strong were respected. Since he had revealed 2 chaotic divine weapons, there would definitely be people coming to snatch it. Since they wanted to snatch it, they were enemies. Since they were enemies, they would fight to the death. This is indeed not the chaotic realm, but the chaotic divine weapons in your hands are too heaven-defying. Let alone me, I believe that no matter who it is, once they see it, they would not hesitate to snatch it. What do you think? Continue. Longao knew very well that Emperor Yun didn't look for him for a simple reason. He might as well continue to listen and see what Emperor Yun was up to. Not to mention Longao, even Yun Lu and the other 2 at the side didn't know what Emperor Yun was up to. "Longao, we are not enemies. If it weren't for the chaotic divine weapons, we might have become enemies because of Qian. Longao didn't want to continue listening. He snorted coldly and said, "You want to snatch my chaotic divine weapons and say that we are not enemies? Emperor Yun, I think water must have entered your brain." Longao didn't want to get angry, but he couldn't help it. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such a shameless person. Wanting to snatch his chaotic divine weapons wasn't a big deal, but saying it so casually and asking him not to take it to heart was simply the most shameless of shameless. Emperor Yun wasn't angry at all. He continued to smile and said, "Longao, I will allow you to date Qian, and from today onwards, I will not do anything to you. What do you think?" What did that mean? Longao didn't have the slightest interest in Qian, but he knew very well that it would be a lie to say that he didn't have any feelings for Yun Qian. However, it seemed impossible for him to become friends with Emperor Yun. It was precisely because they had tried to deal with him that he had no choice but to step into the space crack and almost died. It was difficult to let go of hatred. Benefits come first. In this world, there are no eternal enemies and no eternal friends. Alliance. Yun Lu was completely shocked when he heard his father's words. He had never thought that his father would want to become friends with Longao. What was going on? Did his father not want the chaotic divine weapons anymore? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. What did his father mean? However, Yunlu didn't say much. His father knew very well that even if he said or did something, it might not change his father's mind. It was precisely because of this that even though Yunlu was very unwilling in his heart, he still endured it in the end. I want to know the reason. There was no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it came to his two chaotic divine weapons. He knew better than anyone how tempting they were. It was simply illogical for Emperor Yun to give up on snatching them. Even if it was for Yun Qian, it was impossible. In front of the interests of the family, an individual was nothing and could be sacrificed at any time. Before Emperor Yun could speak, Longao said again, "I want to hear the truth. If you play tricks, we will fight to the death. Even if I, Longao, die, I will drag the Yun family down with me." Chapter 28:30. Just you? Shameless boasting. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Although Yunlu didn't say anything, the murderous aura on his face spoke for itself. Longao was too arrogant. Even if the Yun family wasn't a big force in the chaotic realm, dealing with a small Longao was a piece of cake. But for some reason, the Yun family hadn't sent anyone down yet. Emperor Yun wasn't angry at all and said calmly, "I've found out that it's impossible for us to take the two chaotic divine weapons from you." Although he didn't want to admit it, the truth was right in front of him. "Besides, I have a feeling that there's a problem in my family, so we need your help. Find the inheritance as soon as possible." That's right. Longao wasn't stupid. Emperor Yun wouldn't turn from an enemy to a friend for no reason. There must be a reason. Inheritance. Other than the inheritance, he couldn't think of a second reason. After all, Emperor Yun had said that the inheritance was too important to him. "If I get the inheritance, are you sure I won't be tempted?" It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted by the inheritance of a super expert. Emperor Yun didn't care at all and said, "This is the most important reason why I chose you. Although you're not a good person, you should be a sentimental person. Since you and Qian can be together, I believe you won't steal our family's things." What a headache. Old fox. Definitely a 1,000-year-old fox. Longao had already believed Emperor Yun's words, and he didn't want to continue being enemies with Emperor Yun. There were no eternal enemies in this world, and no eternal friends. Everything should be based on interest. Moreover, without an enemy like Emperor Yun, his family would be safer. "Emperor Yun, how can I believe you?" Essence soul oath. Yun Lu's heart skipped a beat. He knew that his father wasn't joking. He was serious. Just as expected. Before anyone could say anything, Cloud Emperor had already made a primordial spirit oath and forced Yun Lu and the others to make a primordial spirit oath as well. Longao was caught off guard and didn't know what was going on with Cloud Emperor. The change was too fast. "You believe me now?" "Why?" "I want to get the inheritance." Longao shook his head. His meaning was clear. Seeing this situation, Yun Lu and the other two were completely enraged. They fiercely said, "Longao, you've gone too far. We sincerely cooperated with you and even turned enemies into friends. Yet, you deliberately played us." Yun Lu was truly enraged. It wasn't just Yun Lu. Even Cloud Emperor was a little displeased. He had already made the biggest concession, but Longao was still pushing his luck. If it weren't for the possibility that something might happen to his family and the fact that Longao's spatial chaos divine artifact was really troublesome, he definitely wouldn't have chosen to compromise. Qian was one of them as well. Otherwise, he would have killed Longao and taken the two chaos divine artifact. Cloud Emperor's intention was simple. First, Longao's spatial chaos divine artifact was something that even the elders of his family might not be able to break. Although it was just intuition, he had always believed in his intuition. Second, the inheritance wasn't asking for a fight. If he continued to fight with Longao, there was no doubt that when Longao truly refined the Chaos Divine artifact and became a starry sky ruler or grasped the power of chaos, it would be too passive. Third, his granddaughter liked this person. If they could become family, it wouldn't be a bad thing. After all, he had left many people in the family and should nurture some of his own people. If he rashly returned to the family, who knew what would happen? After thinking about it, in the end, Cloud Emperor decided to turn enemies into friends with Longao. I have no problem cooperating with you, but I have a condition. I can give up the inheritance, but I can't give it to anyone except Qian-er. How could Longao not know about Qian-er's feelings for him? Anyway, he already had a few close female friends. One more wouldn't make a difference. Longao didn't want to let down a good girl who treated him wholeheartedly. Because of this, after thinking about it, Longao decided to give the inheritance to Qian-er. He had thought about it. Cloud Emperor and Yunlu wouldn't agree if he or his family got the inheritance. Moreover, if they got the inheritance, it wouldn't benefit him at all. The best way was to let Qian-er get the inheritance. It was the best of both worlds. Cloud Emperor and Yunlu didn't seem to expect Longao to do this. They looked at each other and seemed to have come to a decision. Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "No problem, Qian-er will always be a member of the Cloud family. After you and Qian-er are together." Grandfather. Before Emperor Yun could finish his words, a person quickly came from not far away. It was Qian-er who was imprisoned. Until now, Yun Qian still did not know what was going on. Why did her father and grandfather suddenly form an alliance with Longao? However, this was what she wanted to see the most. In the blink of an eye, she smiled and said, "I finally got you." Longao's face was filled with black lines. He had seen ferocious people before, but he had never seen such a ferocious person. However, since he had already decided to accept it, he would open his heart. He smiled and said, "You have to thank your grandfather." Qian-er, sit down. Grandfather has something to talk to Longao about. Okay. Yun Qian came to Longao's side and sat down. Her meaning was clear. Both Cloud Emperor and Yunlu shook their heads helplessly. A grown girl couldn't be kept at home. It was true. The two didn't care at all. Cloud Emperor said, "Longao, this vast universe is now under the control of our Cloud family. Countless rulers of the universe have been killed by us. Many years ago, 12 people obtained the 12 Chaos Tablets and began to refine them. Later, the clairvoyant master plotted to lure 11 people into the cycle of reincarnation. Longao didn't speak. He just listened quietly because he knew most of what had happened. Back then, Lu-er and the clairvoyant master fought to a draw. What? A draw? Longao was thoroughly shocked. He knew better than anyone else what kind of strength Yun-Lu had in the past. Yun-Lu had mastered the power of primal chaos. Moreover, he also had a primal chaos divine tool. How could the divine mathematician be Yun-Lu's opponent? However, he didn't have the slightest doubt. After all, Cloud Emperor had no reason to lie to him, especially in this situation. It's not just you. Even we can't figure it out. Back then, the clairvoyant master hadn't become a lower god, but he was able to fight against Lu-er. If this was in the chaos realm, it would be an unprecedented thing. Chapter 28-31. Not simple. The clairvoyant was definitely not simple. Longao, I believe you've already guessed it. The clairvoyant is definitely not simple. He nodded. Longao had never been able to see through the clairvoyant. There were two people who gave him a sense of danger and mystery. One was the clairvoyant and the other was Nangong-in. Do you know the clairvoyant's identity? The Cloud Emperor shook his head and said, "No, but according to my guess, the clairvoyant should be from the chaos realm." That shouldn't be possible. The clairvoyant hadn't swallowed the Chaos Tablet when the Yun family slaughtered all the rulers of the universe. How could he be from the Chaos realm? Longao was very curious. However, he knew very well that the Cloud Emperor had no reason to lie to him. At first, I was also very curious. After these days of guessing, I finally have a general idea. I'd like to hear more. Longao also wanted to know the clairvoyant's true identity and why he hid his strength. It was very strange. Was the clairvoyant also for the inheritance of the universe? I thought about it and could only roughly confirm that the clairvoyant is very likely the reincarnation of an expert who hasn't awakened yet. Longao knew very well what the Cloud Emperor said. If that was the case, then the clairvoyant was indeed not simple. He just didn't know how strong the clairvoyant was before he reincarnated. Longao did not miss this opportunity when he thought of the division of the chaotic force. He immediately asked, "Senior Cloud Emperor, I would like to know something about the chaotic realm, especially the division of strength." The Cloud Emperor and the others knew, but it didn't mean that Longao knew. Not only Longao but also the vast universe. There were very few people who knew about the Chaos Realm. You'll know about these things when you enter the Chaos Realm. Since you've asked, I'll tell you in advance so that you can be prepared when you enter the Chaos Realm in the future. If they could find the inheritance, the Yun family wouldn't continue to seal the vast universe. To the people of the Chaos Realm, no matter which universe it was a trivial matter. If it wasn't for the inheritance, the Yun family wouldn't be able to control the universe. Both sides were well aware of the situation, but no one brought up the topic. The primal Chaos Realm is above all the stars. It is the largest realm. Not only Longao, but even Yun Qian was listening attentively. Although Yun Qian was a member of the Yun family, she had followed Emperor Yun and Yun Lu to this cosmos at a very young age. She had never entered the Chaos Realm for countless years. There are a total of 99 heavens in the primal Chaos Realm. They are divided into 33 lower heavens, 33 middle heavens, and 33 upper heavens. Grandfather, which heaven domain is our Yun family in? Cloud Emperor smiled and rubbed Yun Qian's head and continued, "Our Yun family is located in one of the 33 heavens domains, Blackstone Heavenly Domain." To the entire Chaos Realm, the Blackstone Heavenly region was indeed nothing. There were various ranks. The Low Heaven Realm was like the Low Heaven Realm, Medium Heaven Realm, and High Heaven Realm to the Middle Heaven Realm and High Heaven Realm. Our Yun clan is located in Qiankuan City in the Blackstone Heavenly region. There are 3 big clans in total, namely our Yun clan, Ling clan and Yi clan. Just as he said this, Yun Tian rushed over and passed a jade slip to Emperor Yun's hand. "Old ancestor, there is news from the clan." He was overjoyed. After waiting for so many days, there was finally news from the clan. Impatient, Emperor Yun's primordial spirit entered the jade slip. His face turned uglier and gloomier. "Father, what's wrong?" Looking at his father's gloomy face, Yun Lu's heart skipped a beat. He had a bad premonition. Did something really happen to the clan? Something really did happen. Emperor Yun sighed deeply and said helplessly, "I don't know who leaked the news. Just a few months ago, the other 2 big clans in Qiankuan City already knew about the inheritance." Yun Lu, Yun Tian, and Yun He were completely shocked. The 3 of them knew very well what it meant for the inheritance to be leaked out. "Father, could it be that the other 2 big clans want to interfere with the inheritance?" The 3 big clans in Qiankuan City were similar in strength. However, if the Yi clan and Ling clan were to join forces, it would be impossible for the Yun clan to fight against the 2 of them alone. Yes, according to the news from the clan, the Yi clan and Ling clan already know about the inheritance and have formed an alliance in the shortest time possible. The clan means that if nothing goes wrong, the 2 big clans will send people over. Clans in the Chaos Realm. Longao was also shocked in his heart. Even a small clan in the low heaven realm would be extremely powerful. If these clans were to send people over, one could imagine what would happen. Senior Emperor Yun, I wonder how you can stay in the vast starry sky. From what I know, as long as you enter the Chaos Realm, you can't step into other starry skies. This was also what Longao was most curious about. You're right. Under normal circumstances, once you enter the Chaos Realm, you can't step into the vast starry skies. Not to mention us, even the high and mighty Lord Shen Huang can't step into it. However, there is a way to enter the starry skies. This method is too harmful to oneself. Unless it's a last resort, no one will try it. Moreover, staying in the starry skies for a long time will cause one's strength to regress. Even if you return to the Chaos Realm, it will be difficult to make up for your previous losses. After saying that, Emperor Yun sighed deeply and continued, "For the inheritance, when the 5 of us entered the starry skies, I was already infinitely close to becoming a mid-level god. However, because I stayed here for too long, I couldn't become a mid-level god in my lifetime, including them. However, Qian-Er's situation is different. When Qian-Er grasps the chaos energy, she will naturally enter the chaos realm. Then, according to Qian-Er's talent, she will definitely go higher in the future. As for the people in the Chaos Realm who want to come to the various starry skies, other than the bodies of their descendants, the most important thing is to connect the passageway to the starry skies. The price to pay for every connection is too great. Father, didn't you say that when you return to the Chaos Realm, you can become a mid-level god?" Yun Lu was shocked. Of course, he knew what his father said. However, he didn't expect that even his father couldn't escape. Emperor Yun just smiled and said, "I just hope. The probability of success is less than 1%. Forget it, as a member of the Yun clan, the clan's interests come first." Senior Emperor Yun, can't we use the passageways from various planes to the Chaos Realm? Chapter 2832. No. Emperor Yun said helplessly. Cloud Emperor said helplessly, "I know what you mean, but I have to tell you that there are portals to Chaos Realm in every universe, but Chaos Realm doesn't have any portals to other universes. So that's how it is." The Chaos Realm was really a mysterious realm. He didn't know why. Longao also began to yearn for the Chaos Realm. If it weren't for his family and his own reasons, he would have wanted to go to the Chaos Realm immediately. The conditions didn't allow it. Wait. The only thing he could do was wait. Emperor Yun seemed to be able to read Longao's mind. He smiled and said, "When you master the power of chaos, you'll be forcefully brought into the Chaos Realm. But before that, you should settle your matters as soon as possible." Yun Lu said, "When the inheritance is settled, we'll leave." Longao wasn't too worried. Ever since he formed an alliance with Emperor Yun, the only person he was worried about was the clairvoyant. There were more than 30 people in the Soaring Dragon Empire who had devoured the tablet. If he could refine all of them and become the ruler of the universe, it would mean a lot. Senior Emperor Yun, I want to ask about the power levels in the Chaos Realm. This was what Longao wanted to know the most. The power levels in the Chaos Realm. He thought about it. Emperor Yun said, "Those who didn't devour the tablets are called gods. They're the most ordinary people. Those who devour the tablets but don't refine them are called half-gods. They're not much stronger than ordinary people." At this moment, Yun Qian, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, "Let me talk to Longao. You didn't explain it in detail at all." Looking at Qian-Er's expression, both Yun Lu and Emperor Yun shook their heads helplessly. They could clearly sense that Qian-Er really liked Longao. Not only did she like him, but she liked him very much. Longao, in the Chaos Realm, other than what grandfather just said, the rest are true warriors. Those who master the power of chaos are called lower gods. Above them are middle gods, upper gods and master gods. Longao was very clear that regardless of whether it was Emperor Yun or Yun Lu, they were actually both lower deities. This was especially true for Yun Lu, who was currently unable to even reach the level of a lesser deity. Above the overgods are the god-kings, which are the domain masters of the 33 lower heavens. What about the 33 middle heavens and 33 high heavens? Divine King. Longao didn't need to go to the Chaos Realm to know what a godly king was in the Chaos Realm. To be able to become the domain lord of a heaven domain, even if it was a lower heaven domain, their strength was probably unreachable. It's said that the domain lords of the 33 middle heavens are all godly emperors. The domain lords of the 33 heavens are peak godly emperors. Legendary godly emperors are too far away from us, so we don't know the details. Cloud Emperor nodded. Senior Cloud Emperor, forgive me for asking. Please. Ever since they started working together, Emperor Yun's attitude towards Longao took a 180-degree turn. Longao did not mind at all. In the past, when he and Qian were gone, Emperor Yun and Yun Lu were considered family. What is the strength of the 3 great clans of Qiankuan City? Superior God. Emperor Yun didn't hesitate at all. Because in Qiankuan City, this wasn't a secret. If a clan didn't even have a superior god, they wouldn't be able to establish themselves in a city. This was fundamental. Then, if the Ling and Yi family were to send people down, what kind of strength would they send down? This was the key point. Longao could almost be sure that no matter if it was the Ling or Yi family, once an expert came down, other than searching for the inheritance, the 3 great clans would most likely start a war here. The concept of being a bystander was something that he understood. Other than that, Longao was very sure that once the 2 great clans sent people down, the news of him possessing a chaos artifact would be leaked out. He could imagine what would happen then. It was still the same sentence. If he was alone, then no matter how much danger he faced, it wouldn't matter. After all, he had the Chaos Palace. Even if a middle god came down, he was confident that a middle god wouldn't be able to break through his Chaos Palace. But he had a clan. Even if he took 10,000 steps back, even if his clan had all refined the primal chaos tablets, who knew how long it would take for them to control primal chaos energy? Thus, this was a huge problem. How could Emperor Yun not know what Longao was worried about? He said, based on my guess, if the other 2 great clans already know about this, then they wouldn't send out gods at all. What's more, gods, to our 3 clans, are fundamental existences. If they forcefully enter this place, it would probably cause them to suffer tremendous damage, and their cultivation might even regress. So that's how it was. Longao's face was very ugly, because even a demigod would be hard for them to deal with. The most important thing right now was to think of a way to refine the remaining primal chaos tablets as quickly as possible. That way, even if they faced a demigod, they wouldn't be completely helpless. Father, did the clan say how many people the Ling and Yi families would send down? Yun Lu was extremely worried as well, because the Ling and Yi families could casually send out any one of their clans, and their overall strength was on par with the Yun family. Now that the 2 clans had joined forces, even the clan wouldn't be able to do anything. Based on the information the clan gave me, the 3 great clans have come to a temporary agreement. The Ling and Yi families will each send out 3 demigods, while our Yun family will only be able to send one, also a demigod. Why? Yun Lu couldn't understand. Since the 3 great clans had come to an agreement, then why were the other 2 clans able to send out 3 demigods, while his Yun family could only send 1 demigod? The difference was simply too great. It was hard to accept. This was too much. Longao had never imagined that the Ling and Yi families would send out 6 demigods all at once. He knew better than anyone else what a demigod meant. It meant that they had truly grasped the power of primal chaos, and every one of them was comparable to Emperor Yun. Moreover, Emperor Yun had been in the universe for so many years, and his strength had long been inferior to others. It seemed that the alliance of the Yi and Ling families had pressured the Yun family greatly. Otherwise, the Yun family wouldn't have agreed to such a request. They were completely bullying the Yun family. If that was the case, after entering the universe, the Yun family's chances of obtaining an inheritance would be greatly reduced. Although, until now, they still didn't know if there really was an inheritance in the vast universe. Don't worry, the clan has its own plans. Chapter 28:33. Father, who will our family send this time? Yun Lu asked worriedly. The Yi and Ling families sent a total of 6 people. Even with his father and the person the family was about to send, they could not compete with the Yi and Ling families. After all, staying in the vast galaxy for too long was too much damage to his father and himself. Among the lower gods, they were the weakest. Yunshi, everyone will only stay here for a few years. Regardless of whether there is a legacy in the galaxy, they will all return to the Chaos Realm. Yunshi? It was Yunshi? Hearing that the family had sent Yunshi, Yuntian, Yunhe, and Yunlu were all completely shocked. Grandfather, who is Yunshi? Yunxian had never entered the Chaos Realm, so she did not know anything about her family. More than 100 years ago, the family suddenly sent news that the 20-year-old Yunshi had successfully become a lower god. 3 years ago, Yunshi also successfully broke through to the peak of lower god. If nothing unexpected happens, Yunshi will be able to break through to middle god when she returns to the family. Emperor Yun and the rest knew very well how big the gap between lower god and middle god was. Moreover, middle god was too important to the family. In the Chaos Realm, there were too many lower gods and gods, but middle gods were the foundation of the family. Longao seemed to have thought of something and said, according to what you said, as long as the people of the Chaos Realm enter the various galaxies by force, they will suffer great damage. In this case, when Yunshi returns from the galaxy, can she still guarantee to break through to middle god? Emperor Yun knew what Longao was thinking. He smiled. In a few years, the damage should not be too great. Others might not be able to do it, but with the entire family supporting Yunshi, I believe Yunshi will eliminate all worries and break through to middle god. What about you, senior? Me? What am I? Emperor Yun sighed deeply and said helplessly, how can my status compare to Yunshi's? Moreover, I have spent too much time in the galaxy and the cost is too great. The family will not. At this point, Emperor Yun did not continue because he did not know what to say. However, Longao already understood the meaning behind it. Father. He waved his hand. Cloud Emperor knew what Yunlu wanted to say, but he still stopped him and said, an individual can sacrifice himself at any time for the benefit of the family. Longao sighed helplessly in his heart. He was used to such things happening in the clan, so he didn't say much. Longao, do you know why the people here can't control the power of primal chaos? Chaos channel. You're really smart. Longao had already thought of this when he returned because he really couldn't think of a second reason apart from the chaos channel. The first thing we did when we entered was to seal the various chaos channels. That way, no one in the entire vast universe would be able to control the power of chaos. So that was the case. However, I've also received orders from my clan to immediately open the seals of all the chaos passageways. Otherwise, this matter will definitely be leaked out. If other clans find out about this, it will be devastating. How many chaos channels are there in space? 9. Does every cosmos have 9 chaos passageways? That's right. It seemed that he had guessed correctly. If all 9 chaos channels were opened, the Oracle and the others would be forcefully sucked into the chaos once they mastered the power of primal chaos and entered the chaos realm. In fact, Longao still had another worry. Previously, the Yun clan was worried that the inheritance would be discovered in the Chaos Realm, so they forcefully sealed the 9 Chaos Channels. If they opened the Chaos Channels now, wouldn't they be afraid that others would find out? The other clans wouldn't think of opening it at this time, but nothing is absolute. If we're unlucky, it's a different story. Father, when the people from the other 2 clans arrive, will we? Yun Lu's meaning was clear. Even if they couldn't find the inheritance, the 3 clans had always been fighting openly and secretly. It would be difficult to end this time, and it was still unknown who would live and who would die. Kill. A simple word was enough to express Emperor Yun's attitude. In fact, it also expressed the Yun clan's attitude. The 3 clans were well aware of this, but it would be best if they could find the inheritance. Senior Emperor Yun, how were you so sure that the inheritance existed in this starry sky? This was also what Longao was most curious about. Since they were so confident that they even massacred the starry sky to seal the Chaos Channel, the Yun clan should be able to find the location of the inheritance. But in the end? For so many years, the 5 Yun clan members had been guarding this starry sky, but they didn't find anything other than that. We're 50% sure. If we didn't have any news, our Yun clan wouldn't have paid such a huge price. Emperor Yun took out a map and said, "This is a map that our Yun clan accidentally obtained. It's this vast starry sky. As for the location of the inheritance, it seems that a part of it has been destroyed, so we can't determine the exact location of the inheritance." Longao didn't hold back, because he had already decided to help the Yun clan obtain the inheritance. However, he wouldn't give it to anyone in the Yun clan, but to his lover, Qian'er. Because of this, he took the map and looked at it. As for Yun Lu and the others, they didn't say much. After all, Longao's luck, strength, and talent had already been recognized by them. Previously, they had no choice but to deal with Longao as a last resort. Now that they had formed an alliance, there was no need to fight against each other. The map indeed showed this vast starry sky. Longao was very sure of this. However, as Emperor Yun said, the map in their hands was obviously not complete. It was simply impossible to rely on this map to find the inheritance. No wonder Emperor Yun and the others had been searching for so many years without finding anything. Senior Emperor Yun, forgive me for being blunt. Since the Ling clan and the Yi clan already know about the inheritance, I'm afraid we can't keep this map. Emperor Yun knew Longao's worries very well. He said helplessly, "What you just said is also what the clan is worried about." That's right, the 2 clans already know about the map. So when they all arrive, I will share the map. In fact, this map is useless unless we can find the missing part. It was really frustrating. Emperor Yun had been searching for countless years, but he still couldn't find any clues. Who knew where the missing part was? It might even be in another starry sky. Chapter 28-34. After understanding, Longao did not continue to stay, but returned to the soaring dragon dimension. Longao kept the Chaos Palace in his Dantian. The reason was simple. He had formed an alliance with Emperor Yun. Apart from the Yun family, it would not be easy for Master Clairvoyant and the others to break the seal. In less than a day, all the rulers of the universe already knew about the alliance between the Yun family and Longao. What was going on? Everyone was dumbfounded. Emperor Yun had teamed up with them to destroy Longao. How did they form an alliance in just a few days? They could not figure it out. They really could not figure it out. Emperor Yun and Yun Lu's actions shocked everyone. They did not know what to do. As for Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu, they had completely disappeared. 3 months later, Emperor Yun and Yun Lu took the Heavenly Thunder Sword and opened all 9 chaos passageways. Since then, Long Mia and the others suddenly felt that the chaos energy that they had not mastered for many years was beginning to show signs of loosening. It was very strange. The Chaos Tablet in their bodies seemed to have completely merged with them, and they were slowly beginning to master it. But even so, it wasn't easy for them to master the power of chaos. Longao was going all out to refine the Chaos Tablet in his body. It was a little difficult. After all, he could not wait for tens of thousands of years. According to Emperor Yun, it would not be long before the 6 lower gods from the Ling and Yi families arrived. When that time came, as long as someone leaked information about the Chaos Divine Weapon, they would definitely take it. The Chaos Axe was fine. This was especially true for the Primal Chaos Palace. Even in the Primal Chaos realm, such a powerful spatial artifact was extremely rare. Before the 6 lower gods arrived, they would not be able to refine the remaining half of the Chaos Tablet. This was really a headache. Master Clairvoyant and Yi Dugu had disappeared. Emperor Yun and Longao had formed an alliance. Even if the remaining rulers wanted to kill Longao or even take the Chaos Divine Weapon in Longao's hands, they were powerless. Longao's strength might not be enough, but the Chaos Divine Weapon in his possession was too powerful. Time passed. Longao didn't go looking for Dragon Annihilation and the others. After all, he hadn't refined the Chaos Tablet yet. Before he became a ruler of space, it wouldn't be easy for him to take revenge. 1 year later, Jianling Mountain. A terrifying wave of energy spread out in all directions. Patriarch, you're here. Emperor Yun nodded. He was also very nervous. For countless years, this was the first time he had seen someone from his family. Moreover, it was the most outstanding member of his family in the past 1,000 years, Yunshi. Yunshi was at the peak of low-level deity. She was only one step away from becoming a so-called mid-level deity. Ascending to the heavens in a single bound. Until now, Emperor Yun still couldn't figure out why his family had sent Yunshi here. After all, Yunshi's talent and strength were obvious. What if Yunshi died? What if Yunshi's body was damaged and she couldn't break through to become a medium deity? 1 beam of light, 2 beams of light, 3 beams of light, 7 rays of light appeared one after another as 7 people descended. They were the 3 great clans of Qiankuan City from the lower heaven region of the Primal Chaos realm, the Yi clan, the Ling clan and the Yun clan. All 7 of them were low-level deities, and 3 of them were peak low-level deities. For the Yi clan, 3 of them were peak low-level deities, Yi Han, Yi Yi and Yi Ku. For the Ling clan, 3 of them were peak low-level deities, Ling Ruoi, Ling Qing and Ling Xiu. Only the Yun clan, only one of them came. It was Yunshi, a peak low-level deity. She was also the number 1 person among the younger generation of the Yun clan. However, counting Emperor Yun and Yun Lu, there were 3 of them. However, comparing the 3 clans, the Yun clan was obviously at a disadvantage. After all, Yun Lu was no longer a low-level deity. As for Emperor Yun, he couldn't compete with other low-level deities, either. They had stayed in the galaxy for too long. Uncle Yun, you've suffered all these years. Patriarch asked me to send you his regards. Miss Yunshi, you're too kind. Thank you for your concern. Let's go. Wait. Just as Emperor Yun was about to leave with Yunshi, Ling Qing of the Ling clan suddenly said, "Leave the map behind." Does the Yun clan still want to keep the inheritance to themselves? Emperor Yun seemed to have guessed that they would do this. He took out the map and said, "This is an incomplete map. If it was a complete map, we would have already gotten the inheritance. I made 2 copies, one for the Ling clan and one for the Yi clan." The Ling clan and the Yi clan didn't argue too much. After all, they came to the galaxy this time mainly for the sovereign's inheritance. They didn't care about anything else. Before they came, they had received news that all the dominators of the galaxy had been slaughtered by the Yun clan countless years ago. Although there were still people who had devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet, their strength was like an ant compared to the Yun clan. Whether it was the Ling clan or the Yi clan, if they wanted to kill these ants, it would be a piece of cake. However, the 2 clans didn't do so. From their point of view, they had no interest in killing Ant. Seeing the Yun clan leaving, Ling Ruoi smiled and said, "Brother Yi, our alliance ends here. If you want to find the sovereign's inheritance, you have to rely on your own abilities and opportunities. Goodbye." Ling Ruoi and the other two didn't say much. They immediately turned and left. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. Yi Han looked at the three people who had disappeared. His face turned colder. The three clans of Chien Kuan City had been fighting openly and secretly for the past few years. They all wanted to devour each other. However, the three clans were similar in strength. Unless there was a substantial suppression, the other two clans would definitely join forces if they were to act rashly. It was precisely because of this that no one dared to openly start a war. Although the Ling clan and the Yi clan had formed a temporary alliance for this inheritance, both clans knew that it was only a temporary alliance. It was safest for the three clans to maintain a balance of power. If one side was eliminated, then the remaining two clans would fight against each other. At that time, it would most likely lead to destruction. No one wanted to break the three clans. Yi Han clenched his fists and said coldly, "I will get the inheritance. Ling Ruoi, you can't run away either. I will make you submit to me obediently." In Chien Kuan City, everyone knew that the genius disciple of the Yi clan, Yi Han, had always liked the genius disciple of the Ling clan, Ling Ruoi. However, Ling Ruoi was arrogant and cold. She ignored him and made Yi Han lose face. Of course, the Yun clan didn't want to see the two clans like this. "Big brother, what should we do next?" Looking at the incomplete map in his hand, Yi Han's face was gloomy. He said, "The Yun clan has been looking for it for countless years and still couldn't find it. We won't be able to find it with the incomplete map in our hand. Moreover, whether the inheritance really exists is still a mystery." Chapter 28:35. Did the inheritance really exist? Yi Han did not know if he should believe it, but since the family had sent him, he had to give it a try. He hoped he could do it with a clear conscience. "Let's see if we can find the missing map." Yes, that was the key. Yi Han clearly knew that without a complete map, it was almost impossible to find the succession of the Nine Heavens Supreme. If it could be found, the Yun family would have found it long ago. Why wait until now? The Yun family was unlucky. Emperor Yun brought Yun Shi to the Soaring Dragon Realm instead of returning to the Yun family's residence. Looking at the six of them, Longao's expression was very serious. What was Emperor Yun trying to do? However, Longao immediately understood Emperor Yun's intentions. He was very grateful to Emperor Yun. If nothing went wrong, Emperor Yun was worried that the Ling family or the Yi family would come looking for trouble, especially his own family. But this time, both the Yi and Ling families had sent lower gods. If the six of them joined forces, it was unknown if they could break the seal of the cave abode. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the Ling and Yi families really broke the seal of the cave abode, it would be very troublesome. "Thank you, Emperor Yun. No need to be so polite." Looking at the young man in front of her, Yun Shi asked curiously, "This is?" "Miss, this is Chien Er's fiancé. When he refines the Chaos Tablet in his body and enters the Chaos Realm, I'm going to find a date for them to get married." "Fiancé? And he devoured the Chaos Tablet?" Yun Shi seemed a little surprised. After all, although Yun Qian had never returned to the family, she was still a member of the family. If nothing went wrong, it would not take long for everyone to return. She thought that Chien would look for him in the family. She did not expect that she had already done it in this galaxy. "Longao, this is our Yun family's Mississippi. She's very talented and is a peak lower god." Longao was very clear about the concept of a peak lower deity. She was infinitely close to a middle god. It could be said that among the lower gods, Yun Shi stood at the peak. "Hello, let's get to know each other. I'm Longao. I'm Yunshi. I'll have to trouble you for the time being. You are welcome. Currently, the soaring dragon realm was empty. Longao found a mountain peak in the middle of the realm. The environment was elegant and the surroundings were magnificent. Cloud Emperor didn't mention that Longao could erase the seal of the cave abode. In the courtyard. Uncle D, could it be that you want Longao to participate in our operation this time? Yunshi was very surprised. She had just dared to challenge Longao's strength. He had only refined half of the primal chaos stone tablet. In the vast universe, he might be the most powerful existence, but in the primal chaos realm, he was just an ordinary person. Uncle D, you should know the importance of this operation. Yunshi's expression was also very solemn. The task was difficult and they could not be careless. Otherwise, if there was even the slightest mistake, all of them would die here. It was precisely because of this. Yunshi did not want to see any accident. She said, "This time, the Ling family and the Yi family have sent 6 lower gods. Yi Han and Ling Rui are both peak lower gods. If we go head-to-head, you know what it means. We have no chance of winning. If Longao follows us, he will be a burden to us." Yunshi did not continue. She respected Cloud Emperor, this senior of the family who had protected the universe for countless years. After all, this was not something that anyone could do. Forcefully staying in the universe would cause great harm to one's body. Even if Cloud Emperor could advance to become a middle god in the future, he would forever remain a middle god. Not to mention a higher god, even a peak middle god would not be able to touch him. She did not want to make it too serious. Even if Longao was Qian Er's fiancé, he had no right to participate in this operation. In fact, what Yunshi really wanted to say was that Longao did not have the right. Yunlu and the other two did not say much. Instead, it was Yunxian who said, "Sister Yunshi, why do you look down on Longao? He is more outstanding than you think, much more outstanding." Yunshi had a good impression of Yunxian. She could also see that Yunxian was very talented. If she could forcefully bring her back to the family, Yunxian might become a higher god in the future. Yunshi knew very well what a higher god meant to the family. No matter what, the 3 big families of Qiankuan City, whether it was the Yi family, the Ling family, or the Yun family, all only had one higher god. No matter which family it was, if they could suddenly have one more higher god, they would definitely break the balance of power and suppress the other 2 big families. Yunxian's talent was very important. This time, she personally came to the universe not only to find the inheritance, but also to forcefully bring Yunxian out of the universe. However, Yunxian had not become a lower god and could not leave normally. "Qian you should know that I have no objections to that Longao of your family. This time, the family sent me here because I want to be 100% sure. If we can find the sovereign's inheritance, not only in Qiankuan City, but even in the Qiankuan realm." As if she felt that she had said too much, Yunshi did not continue. After all, whether or not they could find the sovereign's inheritance was still unknown. "Sister Yunshi, I hope that Longao can participate. Not only will he not be a burden to us, he will even help us." "Qian you are too naive. Longao has not even truly refined the primal chaos tablet, much less become a lower god. If someone like him participates, he will definitely die." "Are you willing to see him die?" "Die?" Yunxian was a bit hesitant. She did not want to obtain the inheritance. Instead, she wanted to let Longao follow Sister Yunshi and see if there were any opportunities. However, if he had to pay with his life, then it was a different matter. At this time, Emperor Yun said, "Miss, there is something you do not know." Since things had already come to this, Emperor Yun did not hide anything. He roughly explained the 2 primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hand. Even he could not break them. This in itself showed how heaven-defying the primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands were. It was shocking. According to what you said, the primal chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands are most likely from the sovereign's inheritance. Yunshi was pleasantly surprised. She did not expect things to take a turn for the better. Initially, she thought that there was no hope at all. She only wanted to bring Yunqian and the others back to the family. If her guess was right, then finding the sovereign's inheritance was not something that she had hoped for. The more she thought about it, the more excited she became. Yunshi could not wait to find Longao and ask him about the origins of the two primal chaos divine weapons. Chapter 28:36. Miss, we can only be friends with Longao. Why? Emperor Yun was a wily old fox. Just by looking at Yunshi's expression, he could guess her intentions. She wanted to take Longao's chaos artifact and find a chance to steal the legacy she'd been searching for countless years. I've already told you about Longao's situation. It wasn't easy for me to form an alliance with him. He waved his hand. Before Emperor Yun could continue, Yunshi suddenly smiled and said, "Don't worry, uncle. Qian don't worry. My family and I won't fall to such a state." Seeing that Yunshi didn't seem to be lying, the two heaved a sigh of relief. Whether Longao's chaos artifact comes from the legacy or not, he can still join us. But we won't let him touch the legacy. Tell him for me. Understood. Emperor Yun didn't tell Yunshi about Longao's true intentions, because even if Yunqian's talent was extraordinary, it wasn't up to them to decide if she wanted the legacy. If the family made the decision, the legacy would undoubtedly be given to the family's only high god. Miss, what should we do next? Find the map. 4 simple words, but Emperor Yun and the others were extremely depressed. Finding the incomplete map was easier said than done. They'd searched for countless years and still hadn't found it. One word, difficult. Longao didn't stay with the others. Instead, he stayed outside the cave. If only the Chaos Palace could be separated from my body. He felt helpless. Even though he had gained some control over the Primal Chaos Hall, he was still unable to completely separate it from his elixir field. If that was the case, once the Yi and Ling families made their moves, it was unknown whether the cave-dwelling seal would be able to withstand them. What should he do? Longao would rather take the risk himself than the family. He had to refine the Chaos Tablet as soon as possible, but the remaining half would take at least tens of thousands of years. If he'd known this would happen, he would have stayed in the immortal world until he'd completely refined the Chaos Tablet. Longao had never imagined that there would be such a huge time difference between the immortal world and the vast cosmos he was in. If he hadn't experienced it himself, it would have been hard to believe. It was too late for regrets. The 6 demigods of the Yi clan and the Ling clan had all descended. Who knew if the 6 of them would point their spears at him? Caution is the parent of safety. Longao, can I talk to you? I'm very willing. Longao was not surprised by Yunshi's sudden arrival because he had already guessed that Yunshi would definitely come looking for him. If he was right, Yunshi should already know that he possessed 2 chaotic divine artifacts. Chaos divine artifacts were also divided into different grades. I've heard about you. Do you want to hear about the Chaos Realm? Please. Although Cloud Emperor knew about the Chaos Realm, he had been away for so many years. There are a total of 99 heavens in the Chaos Realm. I believe Emperor Yun has already told you. Yes? Yunshi smiled and continued, let me tell you about other things in the chaotic realm, such as alchemists, array masters, refiners, and talisman masters. The status of these people is far higher than ordinary warriors. Do you know why? Very rare. Longao had a general understanding of this matter. Alchemists were especially important in the immortal world's starry skies, but they were not worth much in his vast starry skies. As for the Chaos Realm, the alchemists, array masters, and talisman masters that Yunshi had mentioned were very popular. At the end of the day, it was because they were rare. You're very right. Perhaps in the starry skies, these so-called alchemists and array masters can easily reach a certain level, but in the Chaos Realm, there are far too few of them. Take the refiners, for example. Yunshi sighed. She lived in the Chaos Realm and naturally knew how rare array masters, refiners, and alchemists were. Even in Cosmos City, there were only a few of them. Array masters, refiners, talisman masters, and alchemists can be divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, heaven, king, emperor, sovereign, and emperor levels. Longao did not speak. If it had been before, he indeed did not want to become an alchemist, array master, or talisman master. But it was different now. First of all, his 9-revolution chaos formula had been completely perfected. It had a very complete set of alchemy, array, talisman, and refiner technique. Moreover, it was unique. After the 9-revolution, his achievements would certainly not be low. With such a foundation, how could he give up this opportunity? Secondly, even if he could master the chaos energy and become a lower god, his strength would only be at the lowest level when he entered the Chaos Realm. If he wanted to gain a foothold as soon as possible, alchemy, refining weapons, and array masters were still very important. I already know about your relationship with Qian'er. As for your Chaos Divine weapon, whether or not it is related to the inheritance, I will not snatch it. But I hope that you can help our Yun family. How about it? No problem. Without even thinking, Longao had already agreed. Before this, he had already promised Emperor Yun. However, Longao had already decided that if he could really find the inheritance, he would give it to Qian, or no matter the price. Longao, with all due respect, with your strength, even if you are talented, it will be very difficult for you to gain a foothold in the Chaos Realm in a short time. In this case, the family will not allow you to be together with Qian'er. So, let me give you a piece of advice. Why don't you take the unconventional path? Other than cultivation, try to come into contact with other alchemy, array masters, and weapon refiners. Do you understand what I mean? If he still did not understand, Longao would really be a fool. He smiled and said, "Thank you for your reminder. I know what to do." Longao had a good impression of Yunshi. If it was someone else who heard that he had 2 heaven-defying chaotic divine tools, it was obvious what they would do. Regardless of whether it was the primal chaos axe or the primal chaos palace, the temptation was too great. Miss Yunshi. You can call me Sister Yun. Yunshi actually looked down on Longao in her heart. However, since he was already together with Qian'er, she loved the house and its crow. After all, Yunshi was very good to Qian'er and liked her very much. Sister Yun, I would like to ask, since you already know that the map is incomplete, why are you still persisting? In the endless vast starry sky, no one knows where the lost map is. There is no point in continuing to search like this. How could Yunshi not know what Longao meant? However, they did not dare to go against the family's decision. Chapter 2837. Clan. Just 2 words. Yunshi didn't say much. However, Longao already knew what Yunshi meant. Even if there was no legacy in the universe, for the sake of the clan, they were willing to sacrifice themselves. He didn't say much. He was only responsible for helping the Yun clan. As for whether or not he was able to find them, that had nothing to do with him. There was still no news of Master God Diviner and Yi Dugu. For some reason, the 2 of them had suddenly disappeared without any warning. As for the others, they seemed to have learned about the Yi and Ling clans. They all went into closed-door training, hoping to be able to control primal chaos energy as soon as possible. Whether it was the Yi or Ling clans, the 6 people they sent out were all demigod. Any random demigod would be able to easily annihilate them. The universe wasn't the primal chaos realm. Demigods were invincible in the universe, but in the primal chaos realm, they were only slightly more powerful than ordinary people. During this period, Longao asked a few questions regarding the primal chaos realm, as well as the primal chaos steels. According to Emperor Yun, the primal chaos realm had countless primal chaos steels, and they all had different attribute. For example, there were lightning attribute primal chaos steels, 5 elemental chaos steels, wind attribute primal chaos steels, darkness attribute primal chaos steels, slaughter attribute primal chaos steels, etc. There were all sorts of primal chaos steels. All sorts of strange things. As for where these primal chaos steels came from, no one knew. If one was lucky enough to find their own primal chaos steels, then they would be able to devour them. Amongst them, primal chaos steels that were compatible with one's attribute were the best, as they would be able to go further. If they weren't compatible, then it would obviously affect their ability to advance. Primal chaos steels were indeed divided into different grades. They were ranked in order: elementary chaos steels, middle chaos steels, high chaos steels, heaven grade chaos steels, king grade chaos steels, emperor grade chaos steels, paragon grade chaos steels, and emperor grade chaos steels. However, the primal chaos steels that everyone had at the beginning were roughly the same. It could be said like this: if you devoured a middle chaos steel, then by the time you reached the god level from the middle chaos steel, you would still have to rely on yourself to continue training. As your cultivation level continued to rise, the primal chaos steels in your body would continue to rise as well. To complement each other, to help each other. If you improve, I will improve. It was a simple logic. Once a person devoured a primal chaos tablet, no matter what grade it was, they could not continue to devour other primal chaos tablets unless they died. As for the primal chaos stone tablets and increasing one's cultivation, there wasn't much of a relationship. The primal chaos stone tablets bestowed upon martial artists all sorts of elemental powers. For example, you've devoured the lightning primal chaos stone tablet, and with the lightning attribute you can cultivate lightning martial skills, and you'll be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort. But if you devoured the lightning primal chaos stone tablet and wanted to cultivate martial skills of other attributes, then sorry, not only would you not be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort, you might even regress. In the end, the primal chaos stone tablets aren't that useful. He was helpless to the extreme. He did not continue to dwell on this issue. This was because Longao had obtained another secret, and that was alchemy. There were several types of pills that could help martial artists refine the primal chaos stone tablets even faster. Ever since he perfected the 9 revolution primal chaos mantra, Longao had been in the immortal world space. Other than refining the non-elemental primal chaos tablets, he had also been researching formations, alchemy, chi training, and talisman technique. This was because he was very clear in his heart that maybe in a few tens of thousands of years, he would be able to step into the primal chaos world. At that time, if he wanted to gain a foothold, the fastest way would be to become a pill master, weapon master, talisman master, or weapon master. A shortcut. For a few tens of thousands of years, Longao had been researching alchemy, weapon refining, formations, and talisman techniques of the immortal world space. After 10,000 years, he had reached the peak, and all that was left was to increase the grade of the primal chaos world. However, the space was not the same as the primal chaos world. To become a level 1 pill master, array master, talisman master, or weapon master, the difficulty was countless times harder than in the primal chaos world. However, this was not a problem for Longao. Longao's 9 revolution primal chaos mantra, ever since it was perfected, there were all sorts of classifications. Amongst them were alchemy techniques, weapon refining techniques, talisman techniques, and formation technique. However, just having the mantra alone was not enough. He needed all sorts of alchemy recipes, talisman recipes, etc. He also needed all sorts of spiritual herbs to help Longao level up. It was a little too difficult. This is really heaven-defying. I heard Emperor Yun said that this pill that Yun Shi brought would only take a few days to help me refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. I wonder if that's true. Such a pill was unheard of. Longao wanted to try refining it as well. However, he did not have the alchemy recipe nor the spiritual herbs. Just the alchemy technique alone was a little helpless. He did not continue thinking about it. Everything would wait until he entered the primal chaos world. At that time, as long as he could find the alchemy recipe and the spiritual herbs, he would be able to continuously refine pills and become a level 1 pill master. 3 days later, feeling the changes in his body, Longao was pleasantly surprised. It was as Emperor Yun had said. A small pill was able to help him refine the remaining half of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If not for the help of the pill, he would need at least tens of thousands of years to refine the remaining half of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. For the current situation, this pill was just too important. Other people's Primal Chaos Stone Tablets that they devour all have their own attribute. They might be able to find the appropriate martial technique. But I can't. The Primal Chaos Stone Tablet that I devour has no attribute. Seems like it's even more heaven-defying than the other Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. I can adapt to any martial technique. Longao smiled. He had already relied on the pill to refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, to control the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, pills alone were not enough. This was the most crucial step to becoming a lower god. Even in the Primal Chaos world, there were countless people who were stuck at this step, unable to control the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and become a lower god. This step could only be described as difficult. Emperor Yun, is there anything you need from me? Seems like you've already refined the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. I should tell you the rest. What is it? The reason why I did not tell you about the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet earlier was because I did not want to burden you too much. Now that you've refined it, I have a way to let you control the power within it in the shortest time possible. Huh? Hearing Emperor Yun's words, Longao was taken aback. He never would have thought that Emperor Yun would have such a method. It seemed that in the vast universe where he was, including the other galaxies, becoming a lower god was many times more difficult than it was in the Primal Chaos world. In the end, it was because no one told the people of the universe what to do. Please speak. The two of them found a place to sit down. Chapter 2838. Now that all the Primal Chaos channels have been opened, all you need to do is head to the origin of Primal Chaos and try to use the Primal Chaos Steel to communicate with it. So that's how it was. Longao already knew what Emperor Yun meant. Before, the 9 Primal Chaos channels had all been sealed, so no one had been able to enter, not even Master God Diviner. But now, things were different. All the channels had been opened. Even if he couldn't enter, he could still pick up some Primal Chaos energy. Using the Primal Chaos energy to sense the Primal Chaos energy within the Primal Chaos Steel, he could then control it. This was the most direct method. Based on your talent, you'll need at most 3 years to succeed. 3 years? Should he be pleasantly surprised? Or helpless? It was hard to say. Because if he really did manage to control the Primal Chaos energy within the Primal Chaos Steel within 3 years, then he would have to leave and head to the Primal Chaos world. What would happen to his family then? He couldn't bear to do so, and he couldn't be at ease. But Longao knew that he had to go to the Primal Chaos world. Not just him, but every cultivator in the universe had the same goal: to go to the primal chaos world and search for a higher level of martial arts. He seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Emperor Yun didn't say much. Longao, even if you can control the primal chaos steel within the primal chaos steel, you aren't a true demigod. You're only half a demigod. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Emperor Yun continued, only after you enter the primal chaos world and use the primal chaos steel to draw in the energy of heaven and earth and temper your body will you be considered a true demigod. I understand. In other words, no matter which universe it was impossible for a true demigod to be born. At most, one would be half a demigod. There was nothing he could do. Right now, the Ling and Yi families have already begun to move. I can almost guarantee that they will definitely act against you. So you have to follow us, especially the young miss. I'm not afraid. Indeed, Longao wasn't afraid. He had the Primal Chaos Palace, a heaven-defying spatial chaos artifact. So what if they were lower gods? He didn't believe that the 6 of them could break through his spatial chaos artifact. Longao, I know what you are thinking in your heart. However, you must not be careless. Even if the 6 of them know about this, they will only be greedy at most. It is not certain if they will act against you. Once they act against you, you must take out the spatial chaos stone tablet and let them see it. Even if they cannot do anything to you, as long as they spread the news to the primal chaos realm, by the time you enter the primal chaos realm, you will be in endless trouble. Sigh. He felt helpless. Longao already knew what Cloud Emperor meant. Indeed, if the people of the Primal Chaos world knew about the Primal Chaos Palace, he would have endless troubles in the future. Demigods might not be able to break through his Primal Chaos Palace. Gods or high gods might not be able to break through his Primordial Chaos Palace. But what about main gods, godly kings, or even godly emperors? Longao did not have the slightest bit of confidence. I know what to do. After this matter is settled, you must make arrangements for your family as soon as possible. Remember, as long as you head to the Primal Chaos realm and establish a firm foothold, your family will go to the Primal Chaos realm in the future. At this point, Cloud Emperor did not continue. However, the meaning behind his words was clear. Cloud Emperor left. Longao began to ponder. No matter what, the Primal Chaos realm was definitely more complicated and troublesome than he had imagined. Just as Cloud Emperor said, he had to head to the Primal Chaos realm as soon as possible to establish a firm foothold for his family. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. When his family went to the Primal Chaos realm in the future, not to mention the danger, there would not even be a place for them to stay. His fists were clenched tightly. Wait for me in the Primal Chaos realm. Yi family and Ling family did not bother about Longao for the time being, because they had already found Longmia and the others. They also knew that Longao had 2 Primal Chaos divine weapons. Although they were shocked, they did not take it to heart. Even if Primal Chaos divine weapons were strong, how strong could they be? The 6 of them had already decided that after settling the matter of the inheritance, they would snatch Longao's Primal Chaos divine weapons. This also gave Longao a chance to catch his breath. Primal Chaos Spring. Longao had been in the Primal Chaos Spring for 10 days. Finally, at the last moment, he had absorbed a trace of Primal Chaos Force. The next thing to do was to guide the Primal Chaos Force from the Primal Chaos Stone into his Dantian as soon as possible. Guiding the Primal Chaos Force from the Primal Chaos Stone into his Dantian was not an easy task. It would take at least 3 years, unless there was a fortuitous encounter. Back in the immortal world, Longao had already studied alchemy, weapon refining, formation and talisman techniques to the peak. However, he still could not break through the first level of the Primal Chaos realm. He already had alchemy techniques, talisman techniques, weapon refining techniques and formation technique. Next, he would need various alchemy and talisman recipes. Without these, he would not be able to become a first-level alchemist, first-level weapon refiner, first-level talisman master and first-level formation master. These were the foundations for him to enter the primal chaos realm. He was very anxious. Longao thought about it and finally went to Yunxi. He went straight to the point and said, "Sister Yun, I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can agree to it." Because of Qian Yun, she treated Longao quite well. She nodded and said, "What is it? As long as I can help you, I will definitely help you." Yunxi thought that Longao would ask her to help the Soaring Dragon Empire because she already knew about the matter of dealing with the seal of the cave. However, the result was the same. "Sister Yun, I want to try alchemy, weapon refining, talisman refining and formation technique. However, I don't have any alchemy recipes, weapon refining recipes, talisman recipes and formation technique. I hope you can give me a few." He was very shocked. "You have never been to the primal chaos realm. It seems that you still don't understand the difficulty of these. Not to mention 4 together, you can't even succeed in any one of them. Otherwise, the alchemists, weapon refiners, talisman masters and formation masters in the primal chaos realm are so rare. Even in our Qiankuan city, the strongest is only a first-level alchemist and a first-level talisman master. I'm just trying. I'll study whichever one suits me and give up all those that don't suit me. In this way, when I enter the primal chaos realm in the future, I will at least have a foothold." Yunxi instantly understood what Longao meant. She thought that he was a very smart person. After all, if Longao entered the primal chaos realm, he might be killed before he could even complete his body tempering. If he could become an alchemist, talisman master or weapon refiner, even if he was only a first-level one, he could live very well. At least in Qiankuan City, he would be valued by the 3 major families. This was a matter of no doubt. There's no harm in telling you. After all, whether it's alchemy recipes, talisman recipes or formation techniques, you can buy them everywhere in the primal chaos realm. Chapter 2839. He was shocked. Longao never thought that the chaotic realm didn't care about pill formulas, talisman formulas and so on at all. According to Yunxi, the chaotic realm didn't care about the so-called pill formulas, talisman formulas, formations and weapon refining at all. Because even if you knew whether you could become an alchemist, a weapon refiner, or a formation master was the biggest key. So what if you knew? Many years ago, I also tried to see if I could become an alchemist or a weapon refiner. Unfortunately, my talent was limited. At that time, I bought all the pill formulas, talisman formulas and so on. I was young and ignorant at that time. Now I'll give them all to you." Saying that, Yunxi took out 4 jade slips from the space ring. Needless to say, Longao knew what the 4 jade slips meant. "Longao, because of Qian I still have to remind you. If you really have talent in one of them, then assist in one of them." "I understand. Among the 4, you can try formations and weapon refining first." There was a hidden meaning in her words. Longao didn't ask more because with the 4 jade slips, it wasn't a problem for him to become a level 1 alchemist, a level 1 array master, a level 1 talisman master, and a level 1 weapon refiner. The chaotic realm had spiritual herbs, and so did the vast starry sky. As for weapon refining, formations, and talisman master, Longao wouldn't miss any of them. The Yi family, Ling family, and Yun family were each looking for the incomplete map. Whoever found it first would be able to obtain the sovereign's inheritance first, and from there, suppress the other 2 great clans. A few months later, Yunxi urgently summoned everyone, Emperor Yun, Longao, Yun Lu, Yun He and Yun Tian, a total of 6 people. As for Yun Qian, she was rejected. The reason was very simple. Yun Qian was the person the family wanted to bring back. There must be no accident. Eldest miss, what happened? Emperor Yun and the others were very curious. They didn't know what was going on. Was there a problem with the inheritance? Yun Shi's face was very gloomy. She said, "Do you know Blood Demon?" Blood Demon? Longao was too familiar with Blood Demon. When he got the dragon seal, Blood Demon was sealed in it. And all these years, Blood Demon couldn't wait to tear him into pieces. What happened to the Blood Demon? Cloud Emperor immediately said, Blood Demon swallowed the Chaos Stone tablet back then. He is one of the strongest people in this universe. Emperor Yun's curiosity was piqued. He did not know why young mistress suddenly mentioned Blood Demon. He suppressed the anger in his heart. Uncle D, a message for you. He didn't want to blame Emperor Uncle. After all, Emperor Yun had stayed here for countless years for the sake of his family. He didn't care about his own health. Cloud Emperor was shocked because he had already guessed that the Blood Demon must have something to do with the inheritance. It seemed that he had been careless. Before Cloud Emperor could speak, Yunshi said, I have received news that Yi Han has obtained the incomplete map that Blood Demon gave him. He has already determined the location. Upon hearing Yunshi's words, not to mention Emperor Yun and the rest, even Longao was a little shocked. This was because they had never thought that Blood Demon would have an incomplete map in his hand. It was truly unbelievable. If the Yi family really locked on to the specific location of the inheritance, then once the Yi family got the inheritance, there was no doubt that the Yi family would not only dominate Qinquan City, but also the entire black market heaven realm. The temptation of the legacy was too great. Emperor Yun sighed deeply. He felt even more guilty. He had guarded the map for countless years, but he had never thought that the incomplete map would be in Blood Demon's hands. If he had acted earlier, his family might have already gotten the inheritance. A mistake. Yunshi couldn't bear it. She said, Uncle D, this is not your fault. We have to be alert all the time. As long as the Yi family acts, we will go immediately. This time, we must get the inheritance. Before Yunshi could finish speaking, she had already heard a spiritual sense transmission. Wait for a moment. I will be back soon. Yunshi did not say much. She turned and left quickly. Father, this is not our fault. If we had known that Blood Demon had an incomplete map, we would have acted long ago. Why wait until now? Yunhe thought for a moment and said, The most likely reason is that Blood Demon did not know that it was an incomplete map, so he did not take it seriously. Emperor Yun nodded and said, No matter what, this is our mistake. If we did not get the inheritance, we would not be able to face the family and would not have the face to return to the family. From the beginning to the end, Longao did not say a word. This was a family matter of the Yun family. He was just an outsider. Even if he had made his relationship with Qian clear, he was still an outsider. An outsider was an outsider. Not only would he not gain anything from interfering, but he would also be disliked by Emperor Yun and the others. How could Longao do such a thankless thing? Longao, how much do you know about Blood Demon? Longao did not hesitate when he heard Emperor Yun's question. He told Emperor Yun about what had happened between him and Blood Demon. However, he did not tell Emperor Yun the details. I see. If I'm not mistaken, Blood Demon and the others should have followed the Yi family. The others should have followed the Ling family. It seems that we are in a passive position this time. Yunshi left for more than 6 hours before returning. She said directly, Yi Han just found me. He wants the 3 families to work together to explore the land of inheritance. As for who will get the inheritance, it will be up to the fated person. What do you think? Was the Yi family that kind? This was complete nonsense. Even if Longao was beaten to death, he would not believe that Yi Han would be so vast. Although he had not seen this genius of the Yi family, he could assert that no matter if it was the Yi family or the Ling family, they were determined to obtain the inheritance. Since that was the case, since they had already found the complete map, the Yi family could go and find the inheritance themselves. Why would they need to find the Ling family and the Yun family? He would not believe that there was nothing fishy about it. Miss, what does the Yi family want to do? According to my guess, although Yi Han has the complete map, he should have realized that the land of inheritance is not simple. If the Yi family goes alone, not only will they not be able to get the inheritance, they might even die there. If we work together, we have an 80% chance of entering. They had no choice. If there was any other chance, the Yi family would not do this. Under the alliance, the Yi family only had a 33% chance of getting the inheritance. What kind of concept was that? If they could not get the inheritance, then this search for the inheritance would be a gift to others. It was impossible for Yi Han to not know this. However, Yi Han still decided to work together with the Ling family and the Yun family. The biggest reason was that he did not want to die in the land of inheritance. Miss, I'm afraid that Yi Han might play tricks. We have to be careful. Chapter 2840. Cheating? How could Yun Shi not know that Yi Han definitely had his own plans? However, for the sake of her family, for the sake of obtaining the inheritance, even if she knew that there was a mountain of knives and a sea of fire ahead, she still had to give it a try. High-level plane. I'm really unwilling. I've already obtained the complete map, but I still have to share it with the Yun and Ling families. Yi Han was furious to the extreme. If it wasn't for the fact that he had no other choice, he definitely wouldn't be willing to do this. Blood Demon and Dragon Annihilation had already submitted to Yi Han because they knew very well that if they didn't choose to submit, only death awaited them. Yi Han had already promised them that as long as this matter was completed, they could follow Yi Han and use a secret method to forcefully return to the Yi family. They yearned for the Chaos Realm too much. If they went to the Chaos Realm alone, they could imagine what would happen. If they could join the Yun family, they would be able to gain a foothold. As for the incomplete map, even Blood Demon himself would never have thought that the incomplete map he obtained back then was actually the inheritance map. At that time, he didn't care. After joining Yi Han's team, Blood Demon accidentally saw Yi Han looking at the incomplete map in his hand and suddenly realized that he had also obtained such a map back then. The combination of the two was the complete map. Obtaining the complete map was equivalent to finding the exact location of the inheritance. How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? But in the end, just as Yi Han was filled with excitement and prepared to secretly head to the location indicated on the map to obtain the inheritance alone, he suddenly realized that things weren't as simple as he thought. According to the map, there was a passage in the land of inheritance that couldn't be opened by just 3 lower gods. At least 7 lower gods would be needed to open it. In other words, he had to join forces with the Yun and Ling families to open the passage. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to step into the land of inheritance, let alone obtain the so-called inheritance. How could he be willing? How could he not be angry? Once the Yun and Ling families also stepped into the land of inheritance, then the inheritance wouldn't be something that he could obtain. If the inheritance was obtained by the other 2 families, the consequences would be obvious. Even he couldn't accept such an outcome. So what if he wasn't willing? Did he really have to give up the land of inheritance? Even if he was willing, his family wouldn't be willing. Sir, even if the Yun and Ling families step into the land of inheritance, they might not be able to obtain the inheritance. I have a way to gain an advantage. Yi Han was quite satisfied with Dragon Annihilation and Blood Demon. Not only were the two of them talented, but they were also very good in other aspects. It was because of this that he intended to bring them back to the family to nurture them. If the two of them were able to become gods in the future, it would be a good choice for the clan. Sir, we have the complete map. We won't allow them to see it when the time comes. In that case, even if they enter the land of inheritance, what can they do? What did that mean? Yihan did not understand what the blood demon was trying to say. The map could only lead them to the exact location of the land of legacy. However, Yihan was no fool. Since Bloodseeker had said so, he must have his reasons. It would be best if he could kill everyone from the Yun family and the Ling family at the same time, except for Ling Ruoi. This was because Yihan knew that both the Ling family and the Yun family had sent out their most talented disciples. If they died here, it would be a great loss to the two families. My lord, I've been studying this map for the past few days and discovered a problem. Hurry up and say it. Hearing Blood Demon's words, Yihan was somewhat impatient. If he could discover something from the map, he would be more confident about going to the land of inheritance. If he could get the inheritance of the Supreme Being, he would be able to conquer the Blackstone Heavenly region, let alone Qiankuan City. Just thinking about it made him excited. Looking at the map on the table, Blood Demon smiled and said, "According to my guess, if nothing goes wrong, this map can not only help us to locate the location of the inheritance, but it can also lead us to the real land of inheritance." Blood Demon used his spiritual consciousness to tell Yihan the secret that he had discovered. The other two from the Yi family did not think much about it. However, Long Mia was furious. What a blood demon! Even though he had already submitted to the Yi family, facing the temptation of the inheritance, even Long Mia was not willing to give it up. If he could get the inheritance, even if he stepped into the chaotic realm, he would not have to join the Yi family. Perhaps the Yi family would have to rely on him then. However, Blood Demon was obviously sucking up to Yihan. Using his spiritual consciousness, he could not possibly know what the two of them were talking about. Ha 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 ha. He laughed crazily and his laughter was filled with endless excitement and excitement. Blood Demon, when this is done, follow me back to the family. I will definitely let the family train you to break through the peak of lower god and become a middle god as soon as possible. Thank you, sir. No one noticed that a cold light flashed in Blood Demon's eyes. However, it was just a flash and no one noticed it. In another high-level realm, Ling Ruoi's face was also very serious. She was not excited at all because Yihan invited her to go to the land of inheritance. Because Ling Ruoi knew very well that Yihan was not so kind. Who knew what Yihan was up to? At this time, Ling Xiu suddenly stood up and said, "Sister, no matter what Yihan's purpose is, we have to go to the land of inheritance. If the inheritance is obtained by the Yi family, then we will be in a very passive position." Yes, I know. But Yihan's purpose of inviting us should be that he can't open the passage to the land of inheritance alone. However, we do not have a complete map. This time, I have a bad feeling about entering the land of inheritance. What was wrong with Sister? Looking at Sister in front of them, both Ling Xiu and Ling Qing were very curious. Sister was never like this, especially when it came to important matters. She was very decisive. "Sister, are we going to give up?" "We can't give up. You're right. We can't let the Yi family get the inheritance. And we have to get the inheritance too. This is the best time for our family to rise. We can't miss it. Otherwise, I, Ling Ruoi, will be the sinner of the Ling family. So will all of you." Ling Ruoi's words were very serious. However, as a member of the Ling family, she knew very well what they should do. Just like Yun Shi, they knew that there were dangers ahead, but they still wanted to go to the land of inheritance. Chapter 2841. 3 days later. Yi family, Ling family, Yun family, and other outsiders gathered at Jianling Mountain. Looking at Xiuma and Longmi standing behind Yihan, Longao already knew that the two of them had already joined the Yi family. As for Ling family, they were more powerful than Yi family. They had recruited 5 people, namely Tian Dao, Yi Mei, Long Ming, Ruomu, and Luo Mu. Seeing Ruomu and Luo Mu, Longao was a little surprised. He thought the two of them would not be willing to participate in the fight, so they chose to cultivate in seclusion until they mastered the power of chaos and entered the chaotic realm. But after thinking about it, he understood. If they could find a backer like Ling family, once they were forcefully brought into the chaotic realm, they would have a stable position. For these lower gods, Long Mia and the rest were insignificant. If not for the fact that these people were talented, Yihan and Ling Ruoi would not even look at them. Yun Shi wanted to recruit them, but after hearing Emperor Yun's words, she gave up. The reason was simple. Long Ao had a grudge against these people. There was no need to make Qian unhappy because of these people. After all, Qian Er's talent was obvious. If she could return to her family, it would mean a lot. Yihan, shouldn't you copy the complete map for us? Yun family had copied the map. Under normal circumstances, since Yi family had the complete map, they should copy it too. Ling Ruoi said, Yun Shi is right. Since we are in an alliance, you should copy the complete map. Everyone gets a copy. This is fair. No problem, but I want the original map in Yun Shi's hands. Only then can I copy the complete map. Impossible. The more Yihan acted like this, the more Yun Shi felt that something was wrong. Was there something wrong with the map? Just as Yun Shi thought, there was something wrong with the map. This was Blood Demon's idea. First, he had to get the original map. Otherwise, everything would be empty talk. Yihan smiled and said coldly, I am the only one who has the complete map. If not for the fact that the 3 big families are in Qiankuan City, I would not have formed an alliance with you. No one would believe him. Of course, Yun Shi and Ling Ruoi would not believe Yihan. If he could take it for himself, Yihan would run faster than anyone else. If that's the case, then our alliance ends here. Yihan left without giving Yun Shi any time to think. I'll give it to you. Yun Shi handed over the original map. Yihan did not hesitate and immediately made 2 copies of the complete map. He gave one to Ling Ruoi and the other to Yun Shi. Yihan was extremely excited. He had finally obtained the complete original version of the map. This time, the inheritance was his and did not belong to the Ling family or the Yun family. He laughed maniacally in his heart. Yun Shi's expression was extremely gloomy. If it wasn't a last resort, she wouldn't be willing to hand over the original map because her intuition told her that Yihan was definitely up to something. Ling Ruoi did not say much. Although she knew that Yihan was up to no good, there was nothing they could do since the map was in Yihan's hands. You could say that. At this moment, Yihan had completely taken the initiative. Regardless of whether it was the Yun family or the Ling family, they were all too passive. Endure. She had to endure. After Ling Ruoi and Yun Shi received the map, they finally realized that something was wrong. It was not that Yihan was being kind and wanted to share the land of inheritance with them. It was because, according to the map, they had to open the passage to enter the land of inheritance. It was impossible to open the passage with just the 3 of them. Only if there were more than 7 lower gods could they open the passage and enter the land of inheritance. Yun Shi and Ling Ruoi looked at Yihan. They were extremely angry. However, it was not the right time for them to strike. They had spent so much effort to come to the starry sky. It was not to deal with Yihan and the others. It was for the land of inheritance. The only way to obtain the inheritance was to obey the decree. Senior Emperor Yun, you better remind Sister Yun that there is something fishy about this. If I'm not wrong, the original complete map can not only lock the exact location of the land of inheritance, but also allow one to enter the land of inheritance and obtain the inheritance. Emperor Yun did not think about this. He had always thought that Yi Han wanted the original map to show off the Yi family's arrogance. He did not expect this to be the case. Now that he thought about it, it was true. Otherwise, Yi Han would not give up on entering the land of inheritance to obtain the original complete map. It was too fishy. Emperor Yun did not dare to be careless. He immediately came to Yunxi's side and told her what he was worried about through his spiritual sense. Yunxi was furious. However, she had already handed over the original map. It was obviously unrealistic to ask Yi Han for it now. Without the help of Yi Han and the other two, they would not be able to open the passage and enter the land of inheritance. Wait and see. Once we enter the land of inheritance, if there are any changes, immediately kill Yi Han and the rest. Understood. Yi Han was very excited when he received the original complete map. It was as if he could already see himself obtaining the inheritance. He smiled and said, Yunxi Ruoi, since no one has any objections, let's not delay and head to the land of inheritance immediately. Since things had already turned out this way, neither Yunxi nor Ling Ruoi could object. No matter what Yi Han wanted to do, they had to go to the land of inheritance. If they did not even go, wouldn't Yi Han be taking advantage of them? Longao had only seen the incomplete map. As for the complete map, he did not know where the land of inheritance was. Among the crowd, only Yunxi, Ling Ruoi, Yi Han, and Blood Demon knew. The rest could only follow. Everyone's speed was extremely fast. After all, everyone was incomparably excited at the thought of entering the land of inheritance. As for the inheritance, it wasn't something that could be obtained just because you were strong. The more powerful the inheritance or treasure, the more it would be obtained by the fated person. Everyone was clear about this point in their hearts. Because of this, Luo Mu and the rest were also looking forward to it. If they could obtain the inheritance, they would not have to wag their tails like dogs. By then, even if they did not join the Yun family, they would still be able to survive in the chaotic realm. Longao, when we enter the land of inheritance, don't leave me. I will protect you. Longao knew very well why Yunxi was doing this. If it were not for Qian Yunxi would not care about his life or death. However, Longao did have a good impression of Yunxi. She was not like the other families, such as Yi Han and Ling Ruoi, who were aloof. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.